all the platforms.
That's right. Okay, we are live. Welcome to the stream. Hello, everyone. My name is Tremaine Hayhoe. This is Matthew Rocca. Welcome to tonight's stream. We have what's called a movie review tonight. We watched the movie Killers of the Flower Moon, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert DeNiro and a few others. We won't name them too much because that might be spoiler territory. There's other big stars that are in this that maybe people don't really realize that they're in this. There's a couple, but anyway, so tonight we got very special guest, Matthew Rocca. Matthew, welcome here. Give it. He's frozen right now. It's okay. We can still clap for him. Matthew, where you is, Matthew? Where you is? Let me see if there's. Hey, there he is. I'm gonna see if there's anything on my end. I'm gonna cancel out any other programs. Okay, there you are. Hello. If you guys are here, say hi. So we saw Killers of the Flower Moon, and how would you summarize it? Oh my gosh, Emily M is here. Wow, welcome. Good to see you, Emily. Great to see you. She's here, and we're gonna be talking about this new movie. So I saw it yesterday. And you saw it when and how many times?
Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. and next Saturday is the next one.
You're gonna see it. Matthew, you're killing me. You've seen it. Okay, keep in mind, guys, this is a 3.5 hour long movie. Not 2.5 hour long movie, which is a very long movie. Not 3 hours, which Beau is afraid is, and which is 3 hours too long. I wanted to. Yeah, that was. We could get into that much later.
That's another debate. That's great.
That's another one. But this is 3.5 hours. But you've seen it 3 times already, so you've already dedicated 10.5 hours of your whole entire life, Matthew, of watching this freaking movie. Like, oh my God.
And soon enough, that'll be 13.5.
14. 10.5. Yeah, it'll be 14. That's like a part-time job, pretty much.
Oh man, if I could just get paid to watch Killers, I would just be done with my job. No, I'm kidding. Job's good, but not as good as that.
Well, as a side hustle, I mean, hey, why not? That would be an awesome side hustle.
It would be very fun to get to be paid to be a film critic.
You can actually do that. They have like the in Vegas. When I went to Vegas one time and I was like meandering. I got there early. It was like a bro trip, and I got there like before everyone, and so I had time to kill. So I'm like walking around this mall. And they're like, hey, you want to watch a movie and get paid? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I watched this. It was actually like a TV show. I think I watched it was like a Bachelor-esque type TV show. But they paid me like $75 for like an hour-long thing. So it's like I made money to watch.
I've heard of this. Did you just have to watch it, or did you have to review it?
I watched it, and they give you feedback. They give you survey questions and stuff like that.
Those like test audience kind of things and stuff. Like they're like putting it out. That's really cool. That is really, really cool. I know we've done like with the Bullets, the movie we made. We did like a test audience, but we didn't have money to pay people. So it was just, like, hey, that's a random weird movie.
That's interesting, dude. I didn't realize you had a test audience. By the way, guys, Matthew Rocca is a filmmaker himself. He made an amazing movie called Bullets, Fangs, and Dinner at 8. He also has another movie that's in the works. We could talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, if you guys want to see, we're in the Halloween season. If you guys want to see a fun, campy horror movie, campy. I mean that in the best way, dude. I mean that's not a
one of my favorite reviews called it Vampy Campy. I was like, yeah, that is great. Like, and not only that, but if you guys want to see some of Tremaine's awesome camera work from these epic scenes that we shot way back in the day, we've come a long way since then, but it was amazing.
Dude, I'm actually pretty proud of that camera work. The way it turned out, and it was pretty intense. I thought I did a pretty good job.
I don't just say this. I don't just say this to flatter you, because it wasn't like a normal movie where you have like one cinematographer, right? Because it was multiple years. But your stuff was some of the most dynamic camera work in the whole thing.
Thank you so much, Bob.
Not to say anything bad about anyone, but your stuff was really
Yeah,
awesome.
well, exactly. Yeah, not saying
Really
about
good.
anyone. Brandon Keeley did a good job. He was
Oh,
there.
nice.
Shout out
Oh
to
yeah.
Brandon.
The
Oh yeah,
dream
Brandon's great.
team, the two of you guys.
Brandon's great. Yeah. No, no, I really appreciate that. Well, thank you. That kind of inspires me because I'm always like, well, I'm not really a camera guy. I'm not a director of photography. I say that, but I'm like, well, I probably could be. I don't know. Either one of us probably could be if we really set our minds to it, right?
I feel that way too. I do feel like we both have the eye for it like that and stuff. It's like it's nice when you have, because we're both directors. So like it's
Yeah.
nice when you don't have to worry about doing all of that here, and you have that trusted cinematographer that's going to help carry that shoot. Like how the one right now that I'm working with, shout out to Gary. It's like he's
Shout out Gary. Shout out Gary.
yeah, Gary, man. I don't have
Yeah.
to worry about the technicalities of shooting on film because I can know what I want it to look like and want it to be shot on film, but he knows how to do it, which is nice.
Well, and that's the thing is like a lot of things. A lot of filmmakers think that they could or should do everything, and that's kind of a big mistake that a lot of filmmakers make is that they want to do everything. They're like, oh, well, I don't have the money to pay anyone, so I'm just gonna do everything. It's like I'm gonna be the DP, the director, plus the sound person, and it's like, well,
I know. It's totally true, and I think we've both been there on different projects, and then it's like we learned that the teamwork of it makes it so much smoother, right?
Exactly. The teamwork makes the dream work. The teamwork is very true. So, okay, going back to Killers of the Flower Moon. And okay, so Killers of the Flower Moon. Let's go back to the review. Let's talk about the review.
Yes. Let's talk about the review. I'm going to silence my phone too, so it doesn't.
Oh yeah. You should probably should have done that beginning, Matthew. Hello, welcome to the show. It's okay. It's all right. We can give each other a go. I love the Cape Fear shirt, by the way. I appreciate that.
Special for the occasion. Martin Scorcese, DeNiro, also playing a Southern despicable, vile character in Cape Fear, much like his Southern accent in this really reminded me a lot of that. I was loving it. And this is the movie that made me fall in love with the two of them, as maybe in a lot of ways want to be a filmmaker. So
wow,
it was really fun to kind of go back to some of those roots,
And then, it is interesting, man, because it is something where like they've been working together for so many years, for decades now, literally decades. And to see that, and actually to see like DiCaprio, which by the way, I didn't hate this film. I didn't, this is not a bad film. Okay, guys, by any means, I don't think this is a terrible film or anything.
We just have on one end, we're down to see it once. On the other end, down to see it 4, 5, 6.
yeah. 4, 5, 6 times. Oh my god!
I told my girlfriend about the 4 times, the 3, and then with her coming up that it's going to be 4, and then she goes like, "Oh, that's too low of a number for you. You're going to go more than that."
She knows you too well.
Yes, she does.
Well, look, like I'd probably watch it again. I'd probably watch it again. Like it wasn't boring, I wouldn't say. It wasn't a boring movie. So I guess okay, so you're a very good filmmaker. So you can describe, how about you just summarize the film?
Okay.
In two sentences or less.
I would summarize it as the story of the Osage people and really the story of it's really more of the story of the greedy men who came in to try to take control of the wealth of these indigenous people who were making all of this money from oil but weren't ingratiated with the American way of thinking about money. So there was a lot of very manipulative people coming in trying to take advantage of that and marry off those people to their people so that they could murder them, thus the title Killers of the Flower Moon, and take the money and take the wealth and take the inheritance or the head rights.
Well, okay, so but summarize that though more simply though, because you kind of went a little bit on a tangent. So if anyone that like, if you're trying to explain to like a 5-year-old, Tell you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like what would you say? Because I'm always trying to say like, hey, how do you every movie you want to be able to like tell someone about it
Yes,
in a
totally.
very
The
simple term.
elevator
You know what I
pitch,
mean?
right? Yeah,
Yes, elevator pitch. Yes. What would be the elevator pitch of this movie?
elevator pitch, right? Scorsese, DeNiro, DiCaprio team up yet again to tell a story about um, a tribe of indigenous people who are slowly manipulated and murdered by uh, a criminal who wants their money.
All right, there we go. Good,
Right.
nice. There it is. That's a good one. That's good. That's perfect.
That was a good challenge. It was kind of hard to take a 3.5 hour movie and put it into that. But
Oh, yeah,
that
exactly.
was
Yeah, you got to dilute it, man. I know. Well, that's the thing is something like that because especially because the trailer. I remember the first trailer that came out. The first trailer came out, and I watched it, and then I remember like my friends watched it, and they're like, "Yeah, that looks cool," but I have no idea what this is even about. Like I have no clue because it's kind of yeah, very mysterious. It's kind of hard, but I really like how it is kind of like a murder mystery. It is a murder mystery. It's a period piece first and foremost.
Yeah.
You know, so you're transported into that time, which I really like. I love that. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
And then also seeing DiCaprio in there. I mean, DiCaprio and DeNiro. You know,
just to see the two of them on screen in a Scorsese film together, right? Like it's the two muses colliding.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that was something where I'm always like, wow, we are privileged to be able to see this, you know, on the big screen. And it isn't, but I don't know. It's kind of funny because it's like, the way things are these days, I guess it's just kind of like I mean I know there was a lot of build up to this movie, but it was just kind of like, oh, the movie's just out all of a sudden now. You know, it's like, oh, the movie's coming up, it's coming out, and you know, so before where it would be like, oh my god, you know, Martin Scorsese's latest movie, Robert De Niro's latest, Leo DiCaprio's latest film, right? I didn't feel like there was as big of a hype, much of it.
That's true. I felt that way too. I was like, I described, you know, I would tell so many people how excited, and a lot of people hadn't heard of it or didn't really know. And I was like, wow, that's so interesting. Like it's by contrast, right? We had, which is a whole other discussion we need to do one of these for, but by contrast, we had Oppenheimer, which I felt like that hype was there. Like everyone knew, right? They're like, oh, yeah, Christopher Nolan, you know. They knew.
Yes,
that was.
But actually, funny you say that. This movie reminded me a lot of Oppenheimer.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, really? Yeah. Because look. Okay. So here it is. So ultimately, I think let's just kind of let the cat out of the bag right away. Okay. You tell us what you thought, like rating wise, what you thought of this movie, and then I'll tell you what I thought of it, and then
So we don't keep them in suspense. We
won't keep you guys in suspense. You know. Well, because I mean, you guys could probably say, but if you hear from us now, you know what I mean. Like if you hear it now, you'll have a better perspective of what, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. And I should say also, I'm sure we'll have like, we're keeping it no spoilers right now, right? But then we'll have
no spoilers. Yeah, we can have a spoiler at the very end, maybe, or you want, or
maybe we'll warn people, right? Like
we'll warn people. Yeah, if we do a spoiler, we will warn them.
Yeah. So are we talking ratings in terms of like 1 to 5 stars or something like that?
Yeah, like, sure. Yes, 5 stars. Out of 5.
For me, obviously, 5 out of 5. But I will say it interestingly, the first time I saw it, I really admired and thought it was amazing, and I thought, I feel like it's a masterpiece, but it wasn't until the second time that I knew that it was like one of my top favorite in top tier Scorsese. Like, you know what I mean? Like the first time I saw it, it was like, oh my god, my mind is blown. I'm so excited. I've seen this new epic. It's Scorsese, all of this stuff, right? But it's like, there's so many movies he's made, and so many that are like part of the lexicon of how I live my life. Not based on the characters, obviously, but based on the filmmaking. I should hope not.
No. William, I do declare.
You love my money, sir.
It's like women, my only weakness.
like women? Oh, you know I like women. What kind of women were there in the war? Oh, mostly white. White. You like red? Yeah, sure. I like
Yeah.
red, blue, white,
What?
skinny,
Any color.
fat, soft skin. I like the ones with the nice smell. Oh, gotta keep an eye on you.
Dude, like I related to that scene so much. I'm like, yes, that. Anyway, that's another conversation. But,
So great.
Anyway, okay. Anyway, so you were saying.
This is our thing. It's like all the different quotes, and we have so many great rabbit holes to go down for. But yes, but for me, it was like I said, I've not to hype it up too much for anyone who hasn't seen it, but I mean, I guess I should
Just hype it up, man.
Yeah,
I mean, hey, if you give it 5 stars, yeah, definitely hype it up.
Some people don't like when you do that, but like to me, it's like I've going all the way back to this, right? Like to Cape Fear. I was a little kid when that came out, of course, in '91, but I saw it at like way too young of an age when I was in like 7th grade on a VHS. And like ever since then, I was so hooked on their work, and I was so riveted. I wanted to be an actor before I wanted to be a director, so I wanted to be DeNiro, and I wanted to work for Scorsese someday. And then years later, I realized like I love to act, a lot still, but I realized how much I love to craft my own films and direct, and a lot of it was through watching how that movie was made, and then going down that rabbit hole of Goodfellas and Taxi Driver and Raging Bull, and studying the filmography, and then seeing The Departed when I was like a senior in high school, and being so excited to see that on the big screen, and all of these films, like. And so when it came to Killers, it was like the hype couldn't be higher kind of for me as this, the biggest Scorsese fan and stuff, and De Niro and DiCaprio. And so like you see it the first time, and like there's all that excitement, and your brain is doing all this stuff, and you're kind of just like trying to calm down and process it all. And so I knew that I saw something special, but it was that second time where it set in like, oh, this is for me top tier, like in one of, I don't know, I can't rank it yet, but I can't, but I do know it's like one of the top favorites for me after seeing that second time and feeling that energy of like watching it, with my mom, who's such a huge fan because of me, that she got into all this stuff. And then my dad on the day after, and you guys
didn't all watch it together? No,
we wanted to. My dad wanted to, but we wanted to. I wanted to space it out, because it's like, for me, it's such an experience, and it's like 3 is kind of a crowd, where I wanted to be that one-on-one, like, mom and I, let's have our discussion on this day.
Wow.
Let's have our discussion on that day, like, and they're very different kinds of discussions, like my mom is very like, watches things from a very emotional and analytical view, and she's really getting into the depth of the story and the characters. And then my dad is seeing more of like some of like kind of the aesthetics, and more of the like the music, and like the De Niro quotes and stuff like that we're quoting back and forth. So like we have different kinds of conversations.
So what did they think? What were their thoughts?
They were on the same page. It was amazing. My mom.
Oh, interesting.
And that was what was so cool, because my mom, I already knew my dad would love it. Like, he just kind of has all the stuff he would love. Like, as a Scorsese fan, as a De Niro fan, and the scenery, that he loves that kind of stuff. He loves old cars like they had in the movie, and the blues music that is.
Oh, yeah.
So I knew he would love it. I didn't know 100% my mom would, just because my mom is more restless when it comes to long screen times.
Well, yeah.
And she's more like, when we saw Oppenheimer, I could tell she wanted to love it as much as me, but she appreciated it as like really well done, but she I don't think she didn't love it in the same way. Like she was just like, I appreciate what Nolan has done, but it did, like, the runtime of that, I think, did kind of, it felt a little overwhelming for her, which is interesting.
Yes, which it did for me too.
Yeah,
It was an hour too long. You just literally cut an hour from that fucking movie.
You're talking
Sorry,
Oppenheimer,
excuse me.
right?
Yeah, Oppenheimer. Cut it 1 hour from it.
It's funny because
you know.
it's as much as to me, it was like, up until Killers, it was my favorite movie of the year. But
Wow.
But it's interesting because even though it's 3 hours and Killers is 3.5, for some reason, I felt the runtime more in Oppenheimer than I did in Killers.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
Right?
no, I feel that too. Actually, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that, dude.
Yeah.
Because that felt more like 4. I mean, the 3 hours felt like 4 hours. You know, for Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer, it was like, because it was so much. It was so ADD of a movie.
Yes.
That it felt like it's like so much going in one thing. Yes. That it felt like too much than too long, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, every scene is like, it's like the big, it's like, you know, I said, did you saw my review? Did you see my review on it?
Okay. We need to.
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah,
film versus film and all that. We need to.
Yeah, dude, totally. So it's like every scene is like, it's like the end of something happening. So like the beginning of this scene is like the end of their classroom. Right, so he goes up, approaches the professor, and then they have an inner dialogue, and then there's the next scene, and they're like talking about the next thing that's like happening, and everything's supposed to be like gravitas, but it's like so much happening where it's like, you know, it's almost like you're trying to process every single scene, and they're already on to the next scene, and then it's like
it's like you said, that sort of ADD kind of thing of it, and you know, that's one of the things I loved about Oppenheimer, but I do think it led to a little more fatigue by the midway point. Whereas, like, I mean, for a lot of people, they feel the opposite. I've looked online, and like a lot of people felt the quick insanity sort of that, you know, the way you said it best was the ADD, like, of that, like, that just, and then we're on to the next thing. That I think that for a lot of people that helps it move faster, which I understand, but I just felt like with Killers, it's like the fact that it was kind of just willing to settle you into this ride and take its time with it made it feel like, okay, you know, you're in for a long ride, and you're kind of just there with the characters, and then it kind of just flows from one scene to the next. And with Oppenheimer, it felt like after the second viewing, then I started to, the pacing of it started to feel a little bit better. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it did feel like.
How many times did you see Oppenheimer?
Oppenheimer was
to be honest,
3 times. It would have been 4. It would have been 4, but my girlfriend wasn't able to see that one with me yet. But it would have been. It would have been 4, but I'm making Killers our priority.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But that is cool that you could see. I mean, look, with that movie, it I don't know, because maybe it's tough because it's like after a first reaction, you know, it's always something like, you know, sometimes a movie could grow on you. You know, and then other times the movie could be worse on a second viewing. Like, wait a second, oh, this is actually not as good as I thought it was.
Yeah.
You watch it again, and it's like, oh, this is actually kind of not very good.
Yeah. That's
so true. Yeah, so you know, it was actually very interesting, dude. I recently rewatched Donnie Darko, as I do pretty much every October.
Nice.
You know, I love Donnie Darko.
Nice. I need to go back. I haven't seen that one in a long time.
Dude, yeah. So, dude, but it's interesting, man. It's like, dude, with every movie I make, actually, I have a different perspective on films after I make them, because I go back and I look at Donnie Darko and I'm like, oh yeah, of course, this is a first time filmmaker's movie, you know? Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? It was like not knocking on it at all, but I could sense that feeling and that vibe. And I was almost like, wow, it's like, it's still a great movie, but it wasn't, I didn't have as much of a, it wasn't as so,
like perfect or like.
Yeah, perfect or like I'm so awestruck by it. I'm not as awestruck by it anymore because I've kind of been there, done that. Not, you know, been there, done that in this way that like I'm making the movie, but you look at it and like, oh wow, yeah, that's interesting. And then,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so. Yeah, so I don't know. It's cool though, but
that's really interesting what you say there. Yeah, it's like and sometimes like you go and you see those ones and like, and when you're growing up and you're just making movies with your friends and stuff, and you're looking at those ones, and that's the most inspiring, is like, but you can't quite put your finger on it of why that exuberance is there of like, and then when you go back later and now you've made a couple and you're like, oh, that's that youthful exuberance of like the first film, and like even the mistakes, like even the stuff that's maybe not as good as you remember it. It's like, oh, that was the fun of that, and now you're moving in a different direction or whatever.
Right. Well, and that's the beauty of some things, is that maybe if it isn't as polished as you thought it was back in the day, you see more of the rawness, you see more of the grit, and that is what makes these movies, that's what makes these movies the movies. It's like you appreciate it a lot.
Has there ever been, on that note, has there been one you could think of that's like the opposite, where you were like meh on it, and then you saw it like either a second time or like years later, and you were like, oh my God, like I wasn't in the right mood for this, or I wasn't like ready for, or whatever, and now I look at it as like a masterpiece or something? Like,
that's a really good question. So like I'm kind of like a roller coaster with this movie. Okay, Citizen Kane. Okay, Citizen Kane. So so I saw Citizen Kane, and that's regarded as like the greatest movie of all time. And like when I watched, I'm like, oh fuck this movie. I'm not a big fan of this movie.
It was hyped up too much, right?
It was hyped up way too much. Yeah,
like, it's
right. But I appreciate it. Like I appreciate the cool camera angles and stuff. But I do remember, like, I looked back at it and I watched it all the way through, and I have a huge appreciation for that movie and Orson Welles in general. I mean, Orson Welles, and actually, he's got a lot of movies that are really underrated that they don't talk. They always talk about Citizen Kane, but they don't talk about. There was one where he played like a school teacher in college, and it was set around this town. I don't know.
I've really been wanting to go on a deeper dive on his stuff. I've been wanting to see Touch of Evil for a really
Touch of Evil. That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, and that's like a fantastic movie. And I'm just like, wow, this is so much better than what his first movie was hyped up at.
Yeah, I've just seen clips of Touch of Evil, and just like the famous Wonder with the bomb and stuff in that movie. Like, I saw that clip and I was like, oh my God. I was a couple years ago, my students were doing a film noir, and I was like, I was going to show that. And then I think it was rated R or something. I was like, oh, maybe I won't be allowed to show it. It's like, but although I have gotten away with it with Psycho.
Oh yeah. I love that. You like the thumbnail, by the way? I have you in the thumbnail with your knife.
Wait.
The thumbnail of the video. It should be it's you and Leo DiCaprio, and it's you and the knife.
Oh my gosh! Wait.
Did you see it? Did you see it? If you go to the YouTube channel, hopefully, if you could see it.
That makes me so excited.
Yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon movie. You see it? If you go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/HeyHoStudios, you go to the live.
Oh my gosh, yes!
You see?
The bullets icon. That is that takes me back. That is... My students have like Googled me, and they think I'm already famous because I'm on Google, and I just let them think that, and I'm like, hey, in 5 years, like, but they see that stuff and, oh, Mr. Rocca, is that you with the knife? That's so creepy.
You're like, yes, little child, and don't you forget it.
Your milkshake.
I drink your milkshake.
I showed him that clip actually the other day, and to analyze this for subtext, and then I was doing the quote and doing the, and they were just like looking at each other, like kind of like.
By the way, so Matt is also a teacher. He teaches film, right?
That's right. Yeah. First, UCSD. Yeah.
UCSD.
It's a middle high school at UCSD for low income, first generation kids and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. It's so nice to be able to bring this, all this passion into something that can hopefully inspire them. Although on the day after I saw Killers, I almost felt like I couldn't teach because I kept thinking of the movie, and like it was it was hard for me to stay focused. But then I would bring it back around to like auteur theory and talk about Scorsese, and then I was okay. And then during our staff meeting, I'm just looking at killer stuff the whole
Well, I guess as like a film instructor, you can really, I mean, you can use that as an excuse to talk about it and to show about it and to say
that's what I like. That's what I like.
Yeah.
It's like 99% of what I'm able to do is just the stuff that delights and amuses me, you know, and just you know, be able to bring that hopefully that joy to them, you know. It's really fun. The only Scorsese movie I've been able to show them though and not get in trouble was Hugo.
Yeah, it's like you show them, well, watch this, but you know, if you watch his other movies, you might have a better time with this.
Yeah. It's like okay, in class, you guys were gonna watch Hugo. After school, no one will stop you if you want to go watch Goodfellas or Wolf.
Dude, that is awesome. So going back to Killers of the Flower Moon. So we have a seasoned director. Obviously, he's accomplished. Obviously, we have Leo DiCaprio. We have DeNiro in there. We've got like these huge stars. We've got, you know, so like for him to make this movie at this stage of his life, obviously he also made Irishman as well.
Yes. Yeah,
you know,
grand epic, which is actually even longer.
Yeah, is that 4 hours or how long is Irishman?
Like I want to say it's like, let's see, it's Irishman. I want to say it's like 10 minutes longer or 15. It's 209 minutes, and so Killers is
209 minutes. Yeah, that's wow, that's 3.5 hours pretty much.
And Killers
is pretty much the same.
Okay, Killers is 3 hours 26 minutes.
So 3 minutes away, right?
Yeah, pretty
wow.
neck. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like maybe it's like also just like it's interesting because his age he's 80. You know, Scorsese's 80, and like DeNiro's 80. And it's like to do.
Oh, they're 80. Wow, 80. I didn't realize that.
Crazy.
80 years old. Dang.
Like, and to do that, it's like it in a way sort of feels like, on the one hand, it's like, oh my god, like to be able to have that energy to do that length for, you know, however long it took to make all of that, and to do that, and to, you know, put it all together in these 3.5+ hour epics. But at the same time, it also kind of feels like, I was just thinking of this with Killers more, that like in a way it's like Scorsese is kind of saying like, hey, I'm 80. I don't know how much longer I will be here. I don't know, sadly, you know, like not sadly, but just my mortality. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do this. And while I'm still able to, I want to tell maximum, like as much of this story as I can, you know, in 3.5 hours. Yeah. Why not? You know?
Well, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Is like, okay, so going back to what I think is the biggest flaw of this movie.
Well, okay, so 5 stars me, and then that leads into the biggest flaw.
Don't make me do this, Matt. Don't make me do this. So I mean, I've been toying with 2.5 and 3.5. Okay.
2.5 and 3.5. Okay.
Yeah, 2.5 out of 5 and 3.5. But yeah. I'm gonna say 3. I'm gonna say 3 out of 5.
It's a good solid. 5. Okay. Yeah.
Solid. Yeah. Solid. Yeah. 3. Look. He's a better than most director. Obviously, it is for 3.5 hours long. It's interesting. It's engaging. It you know, I might have fallen asleep briefly during it. It's okay. It's okay. But no, I mean, I guess my biggest gripe with this is that it's kind of has the Oppenheimer effect, where the director is given carte blanche. Mm-hmm. Okay. They're given carte blanche. This is Scorsese, right? Oh, this is Scorsese. Yeah. We talked about this. Yeah, Nolan was given carte blanche with Oppenheimer. Carte blanche. Have it as long as you want. Do whatever the hell you want with this movie. You know, who gives a crap about the studio or run times or anything? And the thing is like, I think, and actually judging by the box office over the weekend, which Taylor Swift beat the crap out of Flower Moon, by the way. It beat the crap out of it. I can't even.
That's so depressing.
The Taylor Swift movie beat Leo DiCaprio and Martin Scorcese. Yeah, which is like, it's a recording of her concert, right? It's not even a movie. I don't even know what it is.
That would be almost as depressing as if. Did Barbie beat Oppenheimer? If it did, that would be.
It did. That's depressing as well. Yeah. No, that is depressing as well. But yeah, that is depressing as well. But Barbie did beat Oppenheimer. But Oppenheimer was close. Oppenheimer was very close. And actually Oppenheimer did very well. You know, Oppenheimer did really well. Yeah. It did really well. So I think, Oppenheimer is set to make way more. I mean, obviously it made way more than where Killers of the Flower Moon is. And actually Killers of the Flower Moon, it's kind of a harder sell because it's kind of a depressing topic. It's not really an up. I mean, Oppenheimer is kind of a depressing topic too, but it was
sort of the excitement of it's the director of The Dark Knight and all the epics, and it's building to that big moment of the bomb and the practical. It's not CGI. It's a real bomb, like thing they blew up. It's a real bomb. So it's like, yes, it's depressing, but it's like what happens with it. But I think people are going in with the excitement of the bomb and the explosion and everything else, like
Joe says they should have cast Taylor Swift in Flower. Hello, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Like,
you like blondes, like Taylor Swift over there? Yeah, I like them too, sir. Doesn't have that Osage money, but you can go with her for a time.
Yeah,
to the Osage.
Yeah. Hello, it's me. It's just like, no, it's like that was like what I like. I love look. I love DiCaprio's performance. Obviously, he's electric. He's engaging. He's incredible. And but I'm just saying that because honestly, I think Wolf of Wall Street though is my favorite Scorsese movie, and like top to bottom, like that is a movie I could watch 20 times and I still love it.
Literally, it never gets old. It's like
it doesn't.
I just preparing for Killers and getting back on a Scorsese deep dive. I just rewatched it a few weeks ago. It's just like it never ages. It never gets tired. It's always just as much fun as the first time you watch it. Like amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, because for me, like that type of movie is more up my alley. That is a 5-star for me. And this movie, I guess is more of it is an very interesting thing that happened that I didn't know about. I didn't know that this.
Yeah, I had no idea either.
Okay.
I'm a pretty good history buff, but I had no idea about this. So.
I'm not a history buff at all, so but yeah. but I do like I like the conversation. One of my favorite scenes when they're having a conversation like, well, she might be a person of interest that you might want to. Yeah, it's like, and he's just like, you mean you think I should start to pursue her and
be the marrying kind? Marrying kind? What?
Marrying kind?
Well, I think she's sweet on me too.
Yeah, no, all that stuff is great. I mean, that is gold. That is so awesome. And what they did with DiCaprio that I mean, they just gave him goofy teeth, and they gave him a little bump on a nose, So he's still DiCaprio. He's still
DiCaprio, but he was doing that underbite kind of that thing with his mouth the whole as it progressed, it got like worse and worse. Did you notice that? Where it's like his mouth got more and more turned down like that. It was like
it did. It did. Yeah. See. Yeah. Watched the trailer 5 times. Still had no clue
idea.
About.
I I know. I showed my mom the first trailer, and she was like, "What is this? Like, what is?" It was only the second trailer where they started revealing like, "What is this about? What is the plot?" Like,
Yeah, I thought the second trailer was a lot better. I liked the second trailer a lot.
I like the second trailer better because we got to see the plot and we got to see DeNiro and his role in it and everything. But I will say that end of that first trailer was so much fun with the "Can you find the wolves in this picture?" And it shows all the conspirators in the room together.
Oh, right.
That was great. I was
Yeah.
quoting that nonstop for weeks.
Yeah. I mean, like it has a lot of quotable moments. I mean, the thing is like, I guess, how do I say this? This is no spoilers, but like, I guess like from the people that die, um, you know, De Niro isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be in the movie. You know, as a bad guy, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
I thought it was going to be more of a straight bad guy, but that's great. I like
Yeah.
that a lot because
Yeah.
like the best villains, right? Like Hitchcock
Yeah.
says, the best villains don't think that they're villains; they think that they're the hero.
Totally.
You know,
Totally.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's so true. That is so, so true. It's like that moment when De Niro, well, no spoilers, there's a moment where he's talking about his role in all of this. And there's that moment where he says, like, the Osage, they love me. They know who built their roads. They know who gave them their businesses. And like, you really sense that he thinks that, right? And the fact
Yeah.
that he's revealed to have like still thought of himself as a friend to them after blatantly, and that's not even a spoiler. I mean, the trailer tells you
Yeah. Trailer.
he's
Yeah.
masterminding this
Well,
terrible.
and that was kind of part of the reason. It was kind of like, well, it's not a big mystery what's
Right.
happening, you know,
Yeah.
and then it was kind of long and drawn out, and then also like a lot of the things that happen in the first 30 minutes of the movie, and then it's like everything else is kind of drawn out after that.
Yeah.
And also like
Yeah.
the one main character that they found, you know, I was just kind of like, well, I don't really care about this character.
What you
Why
mean,
don't
Leo's character, the main?
No, not Leo. The sister character.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was like, well, okay, so without giving too much, like I didn't. I was like, well, okay, well that happened. All right, but I liked when they
Yeah.
showed like the flashbacks and they showed stuff happening and everything like that.
Yes. Well, I've got to ask you: do you think that the movie? Because it's an interesting discussion and question. Like Scorsese has said that the book, which I haven't read yet, but and now I'm excited to read the book. But like he has said that the book is very much like a more FBI procedural, like criminal mystery of who's doing it. And he said
Oh.
he was writing it that way, but the other writer, they were writing it that way for years because this is like many years in the making. And so they were writing that script that way, and it was from the FBI's point of view. And then like he said they just weren't finding what they felt was the most interesting heart of it. And it was when they realized like that Ernest, Leo's character, Leo was supposed to be the FBI guy, and he was going to be like the one bringing down the bad guys that Jesse Plemons, Breaking
Oh.
Bad is, and like
No way. Oh
yeah, and
wow.
it's all going to be more from that character. And they said it was to them it was more interesting to go from the inside out as opposed to the outside in. So they thought it was more interesting to be like, no, this is not even a mystery. It's so blatant who's doing these terrible things. Why is no one doing anything about it? It's just happening, and you just like you're just stuck in this world, like watching it unfold. And so and you're watching Ernest's character being torn between his love for Molly and the demands of his uncle, and so they thought that was the most interesting story. And like I have nothing to compare to since I haven't read the book yet, but I do. To me, I think it's the most interesting side of the story, but I could see the validity for someone who, to like for me, knowing okay right away, nope, these are the bad guys, and now you're just watching them. It's that Hitchcock thing of the bomb under the table. Like anytime De Niro is around one of these people, you're like, oh my god, the bomb under the table, like right? And like so, to me, that created a lot of suspense, even though we knew who was doing it. But I could see the validity for some people who felt like they wanted more of a mystery. So I'm wondering if that was like how you felt, if you would have wanted more of a mystery or more of a build up.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that would be interesting to see, and I didn't know about that it was more on the FBI side, And what I do like, in the first trailer, when they're like, "Hey, you're asking like, about the murders or the murders," and he's like, "What do you want to know?" Is like he was trying to find out who did it,
Who's doing them? Yeah.
Yeah, who's doing them? Yeah, yeah. I do like that actor. He's like the pale Matt Damon, but yes,
Well, we go way back with that guy from Breaking Bad. Like that's
yeah,
that's what I
yeah. Breaking Bad. Yeah, no, he's good. He's a good actor, and he's a good character actor. So I could see that. I mean, that would be interesting. But I think I agree with you though, and I think that they had the right instinct to make it more contained about them and their story, and then and the tribe and everything. And
there's like that moment that just I keep thinking of this. Like again, it's not a spoiler. It's just like it's really early in the movie, but it's just that moment where De Niro and Leo, right around the beginning of the film, are talking, and De Niro is just like,
dude, that's my favorite scene of the whole movie. That's my favorite scene. Yeah.
Blackbird talk. Tweet, 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 tweet.
yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my top favorite like scenes in the whole, like, because it's so funny, and then you catch yourself laughing, and it's like horrible, like what the implications are. But even so, it's like you buy that Leo's character is almost naive enough that maybe it's a little bit over his head at that point, like. What's going on?
Because he's not very smart. The character's not very smart. Like, yeah. And then that's kind of known.
Yeah, I know how to read. Yeah. Smart enough.
Yeah. Do you read? Yeah. Do you read? Yeah, I don't know how.
But it's like that cut that Scorsese does right. It's Scorsese and Thelma Schoonmaker, who's my favorite editor, because she's edited all of his stuff since Raging Bull, and like she's just amazing. But that cut, it's like right from that scene, you have this lengthy scene, these two stars, and they're talking about these horrible things, but in this kind of subtle conspiratorial way. And then it's like right after that, it cuts to an Osage man dying on the ground. And right after De Niro says, there's no better people on God's green earth. And then it like cuts right to that overhead shot. And it's just like, to me, that was really interesting, because it was like, he could have made the choice of like, let's draw it out and not show anything bad happen for the first half an hour and then whatever. But it's like, no, he's just like, nope, this is what's happening. I'm sticking you right there. You know who's responsible. And now we're going to carry on, like it was really interesting, that kind of bold, I thought, that he chose to do it that way.
That is a good point. I like that. And I did like that, because it's like, oh crap, like shit's going down in this
right
town.
Away. Yeah.
Like right away. Right. And they're convinced, but the thing is like he's not blatant with it. He wasn't, because he's like, he was coaxing Leo's character to marry that girl, but he's not like really, he's not like, well, this is the plan. He's not like this diabolical villain with this crazy
monologue.
Yeah. I hate that, by the way. Yeah, the monologue, by the way. They have the good guy in, wrapped up, and then they give this big monologue like, hi, this is exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing.
I kind of love it, but it's so hokey. But like, it's like, I'm always trying to figure out ways I can do it where it'll make sense in my movies. Like, is there a way I can get a villain to monologue where it actually makes sense? Can I somehow make that work?
And when you say villain, you mean a character that you're playing as a villain,
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. How can I give myself more dialogue?
but I mean, not even that though. I mean, you wanna be able to have, it's like if you want to have fun with a villain, be a villain. You know,
totally.
Like why not? Why not have those speeches or the things if it makes sense, right? But sometimes it's like, okay, this is like. It's all because it's always like with the guns drawn, they're always like, one person has a gun, like the bad guy has a gun, and he's like showing, he's like, yeah, you know why this This is
Yeah,
why.
and he told this full explanation as these. To me, the funniest like satire of that is in The Simpsons with like whenever Sideshow Bob is like, Kelsey Grammer is like monologuing, and so
Oh.
Bart it just kind of like gets him to keep monologuing because he knows it's good.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that. Just keep him talking. Keep him talking.
There's like one where Sideshow Bob is talking about how like smart he is as a criminal mastermind, and like he's got like a knife drawn and he's like ready to kill Bart, and then Bart says something nice about him, and he's like, "Oh, please, let's not have that hoary old fool the villain with flattery scheme." And then Bart's like, "Really? I'm not flattering you. You're just very, very smart." And he goes, "Really? What kind of smart? Book smart? Because there are a lot of people who are book smart, but it takes a very clever criminal genius."
Well, that's the thing is like it's right for like with okay, so this is also a big thing with me in movies is like Scorsese. I mean, there is some humor in it, right? There's some, but then there's like there's like some straight drama, and like if it's straight drama, it's like I'm out, dude.
Yeah.
If it's straight up drama, zero humor, I check out so quick.
Oh,
like,
yeah, for sure.
You know, like I can't even if it's not blatantly, not supposed to be funny things, but like there's things that are funny that you could tell he has a sense of humor. Like they have sense of humor. They want to, like they're not making a straight up drama with this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I do appreciate.
Because I was very pleasantly surprised by how much I laughed during this movie where these horrible things are like Scorsese still has that, not that he's not making fun at all of like the tragedy, it's just that he finds the humor in like the quirky personalities of these terrible people, and he still manages to do that. Like if you go back to Goodfellas, the deer, well, we killed a deer, we got to cut off the what's it called, the paw, the hoof, the hook. It's like,
right,
those little moments, it's great. Like,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. Like that's what I appreciate about him is that it's not straight up drama. It's not, watching the trailer when it's like, you gotta, I like the color of your skin, and it's like what color is it? My color. You're like, all right, okay. I check out typically with that type of stuff. And actually, if you because I color correct, but if you were to look at the color correction of both of those characters, of Leo's character and her character, they're actually pretty darn close. So it's like if you look at the actual the color of her skin and his skin, it's very similar. That's a good point. Right. Yeah. So anyway, so it's like that whole thing is, I'm just like, well, all right, this is a bit too, I was kind of hoping it wasn't like this big woke type movie.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Did you, because we both have, not to make things too political or anything, but we both have spoken at length about sort of just the ways in which woke mainstream media has sort of like appropriated these these causes and kind of made it like clickbait and taken art and sort of boxed art into this little box where it's like everything needs to have this woke message, as opposed to it just kind of like messages about people of different cultures and stuff like that just kind of flowing naturally from like the narrative of the story. So like in certain cases it feels like, oh, this is just like a woke movie and you're just like listening to a message. For me, I was happy that didn't feel like that for me with Killers. I felt like it was like we were watching a director who was very passionate about something that is a true historical thing that happened and wanted to raise that awareness, but it didn't feel like, for me at least, I didn't feel like I was being preached to or talked down to. I felt like I was being told, I think a lot of that has to do with the humor too, that I was being told the story that was still enthralling and entertaining. But I'm wondering for you if it ever strayed from that, or if it felt like they kind of.
I know I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you on that because it didn't feel like that. Like by the trailer, I was kind of that was my wariness because they had that line in the trailer.
Yeah.
And then from, you know, that's like kind of the only moment where I was just kind of like eye rolling, like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, like, all right, you know, they had to add this, right?
Right.
No, it wasn't really like that. And the thing is, I mean, kind of is, it sucks because it kind of is true. It's like the white man bad, you know, it's like, I don't know, at least in this instance.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
I know what you mean for sure. Cause I get tired of that narrative in pop culture, like that it just it always is, it has to be that. But what, to me, what removed me from being annoyed by it was just like, no, this is really what happened. And this is a historical story. It didn't feel like it was like there's a lot of things that are timely too and still connect to what's happening today, but it didn't feel like they were trying to force that, whereas with some movies it's like the white man was always bad and still is bad.
right. They're still bad. They always will be bad. They've been bad. They will be. Yeah, no. I know what you mean. Where, yeah, it was more of like an accurate storytelling of this, and it does suck because it's like, what, 20 Native American people went up dead randomly. You know,
even more than that.
More, yeah.
It's like,
yeah. And this is a true story, which is is crazy, you know, like that.
That was not even acknowledged until, what was it, like 2017 when the book was written. I mean, people knew about it, but it was like a little footnote, you know.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, like I never heard about it.
Exactly. So I mean, that going back to Leo's character was so interesting because he was torn, because he actually really did love her. He really did love this girl.
You can really tell just from,
you could tell. Yeah,
performance and everything. It's not.
But his character is like, he's a bit of a simpleton. Let's put it this way. He's a simpleton. You know, he's not winning any IQ awards.
I'm not
anytime soon.
I'm not thick, sir.
Yeah, no, that's true. But like but like he's torn. He's torn between the two, you know, and he really loves his wife, and you know, they get along really well. And you know, I thought she played a really good part. Like that, that lady. I thought she was good.
Lily Gladstone. She really surprised, like, because she's a new, like, you know, compared to the titans of DiCaprio and DeNiro, she's like, you know, someone that was not that well known, right? And like, she was just really surprised me, and I was really interested in how she was. And this came, like, the more times I watched it, just the way she was able to convey so much with such little dialogue, like just so much in her eyes, you know, and the little smile, like when she meets Leo, not when she meets him, but like when he's in the car with her, and there's that little moment where, I don't know what you said, but it must be Indian for handsome devil, and she just has little look, like she's just like rolling her eyes.
Oh, right, yeah. He probably said the opposite of what you know. She probably. I like that though, and
that moment where it's just like that natural, easy chemistry, and she's still a little distrustful, but she's like, of course he wants money, you know, but I think he likes me, you know, like she can go from that, and then, no spoilers, but just the shift in all she has to go through in the story to where we get to that point at the end, and the last time we see those eyes and what she's feeling is so haunting, you know, like it's amazing.
Yeah, all very, very haunting, very haunting. But you know, like what I will say is because I saw Irishman, and I thought Irishman was interesting because I thought it was some of Scorsese's best work and some of his worst work put together. You know, like you know,
I remember we had this discussion. We should just like go down the line and do like Irishman, and then keep going further back, and then do the one before Irishman, and what was it? Silence, and then go back, and then do you know.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm down. Let's do it. Why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. So I mean, I thought this was better than Irishman. You know, I thought this is better than Irishman. Because Irishman, it took me a couple sittings to sit through. Yeah. You know, this I sat through it all. I did, you know, I might have fallen asleep a little bit for a little bit of time, but it wasn't the movie's fault. It was my fault of my own. But but
I do
but
think it makes it better if you see it in the morning.
yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
But yeah, I saw
You're
it.
like, I've seen it morning, noon, and night, and like this.
No, it is no, it's it is true. It is true though. I saw it the first time after work, and I was a little bit tired. And as much as I loved it, like when I saw it on a weekend and it was the morning, I could just really
You could absorb
nowhere
it.
to be. I'm not thinking about work. I'm just like there.
Okay. You're kind of convincing me to watch it again. I might watch it.
I wish we were in the same place so we could go and catch it at the movies together. That'd be really
Dude, oh, that'd be epic. That'd be amazing. Yeah, I would love to go to see these movies. Because every Tuesday, my friends and I, Joe, by the way, because he says great villain in Cape Fear from DeNiro.
I am like
yeah.
God, and God like me. I am as large as God. He is as small as I. He cannot above me, nor I beneath him be.
Matthew Rocca, everyone. Matthew.
Funny side note on that. When I was only in 8th grade and I had seen that movie a bunch of times, again, way too young to watch that movie. And Halloween's coming around, and I'm like, I want to dress up as DeNiro in Cape Fear, as Max Cady. And my mom's like, please don't go to school dressed as a serial killer rapist. Please don't do that. And my dad's like, oh, it'll be fun. We can do the fake tattoos and everything, and put these tattoos on. And my mom goes, just don't tell anyone what it's from. Just say you're a bodybuilder. Say you're. I'm like, what about the accent? Say you're from the South. It doesn't matter. Don't tell them what it's from. So like, my dad helped me put all these fake tattoos all over me. And we slicked the hair back and everything. And I came. I had a chocolate cigar, like one of those, and used that as like my prop cigar. And I came to school in 8th grade doing Max Cady quotes the whole day and speaking in that voice. And like no one knew what I was doing. They just thought it was really funny and weird. And then this one teacher was like, and I think my crush thought it was hot or something. And like my teacher comes up to me, my English teacher, and goes like, okay, so I get the tattoos, I get the fake dumbbells and weightlifter or something. I go, yeah. He goes like, what's with the accent? What are you doing there? And I say, it's actually from the movie Cape Fear. And he goes, oh, yes, I remember that one. I get it. It makes sense.
You're like, I do declare, sir. You was inquiring about my accent when you did not know when and where it is from.
and the fact that Tremaine laughs so buoyantly at all of my antics is part of why we became such best of friends in college when we met. If only we had met earlier in life, we would have known two kindred spirits of insanity, and it would have been great.
Well, yeah, we're kindred spirits now, man. You know, and I love all these stories because it's like it's so funny, man. Because I relate to a lot of stuff that you did. Like I don't quite have as great of a Halloween costume story as you do right there, but no, yeah, like I relate, dude. I recently check this out. So my parents, okay, so back in the day, like I had my camera, the first video camera, right? So you probably started
the Hi8 was
Hi8, yes, Hi8. I had a Hi8 camera. Okay, so I had a Hi8 camera, and then mini DV tapes were a thing too. So
That's
I had a mini.
My first feature on mini DV tapes.
Mini DV.
Yeah.
Well, did you meet? Oh wow. See, yeah. So I had mini DV.
Yeah, mini DV. Yeah.
So my mini DV camera went away, dude. I had a storage unit. I couldn't pay for it, and it got auctioned off, and it's gone. It's gone. Yeah.
Oh,
so I was like, man, my whole all the stuff that I ever did is all gone. So my parents moved into a new house last year, and a couple months ago they're like, hey, we found our camera. So they found their camera,
What?
which is my first camera that I ever used.
No way.
So before the mini DV tape, I had the high 8 tape. I had this camera
Dude,
right
that's
here.
so cool.
Yeah, dude, I had this camera, dude. This is the first camera I ever used.
Dude, that's that is incredible. That's
And
I have
like,
exactly the same camera, by the
do
way.
you really?
I do. I have the camera. My first camera was a mini DV one, actually. But I got that one specifically for the film we're making now for Morte.
No way.
For certain scenes that we want to have shot with that format.
Dude, 360 times digital zoom. Like, what the hell? Like, what the hell? Like, what is this? This is what it was back in the day. We got Trevor Harris in the building. What up, Trevor? How are you? Hello, my friend.
Yeah, no, it's Trevor is right. It is such an old school camera. I think that the reason, because I was debating for the movie we're making right now, is like for those certain scenes that it's supposed to be a really old camera. I was like, do we do it on mini DV or do we do it on that? I as much as I grew up making mini DV stuff, I don't know. Do you agree? I like the look of the high 8 better. It's the grain of it, the look of it. It's like maybe just because it's more analog and I'm more old school. I like the look of the high 8.
Yeah, no, the look is great. So I ended up finding my first movies that I ever made when I was 12 years old.
Dude, I want to watch these.
I've transcribed them. It's called Dead Man. I made Dead Man 1, Dead Man 2, and Dead Man 33 and a third.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
I love this. Dude, that is so weird. You're telling me your first movie was called Dead Man?
Yeah.
And my first movie before I retitled it was going to be called Dead Man's Touch. So we were both
No way. What? What? Dead Man's Touch. Dead Man's Touch? What the hell? What the hell? A dead man touched me. Oh no.
Yeah, my friend wisely helped me retitle that. But
Right your rules. Thank you, Trevor. You're the man.
Right your does rule. Hell yeah.
Yes. 6-year anniversary, guys. By the way, 6 years. 6 years. 6 years.
Awesome. You should do a 6-year anniversary like Halloween screening or something, you know? That would be really sick.
I should, man. I really should. Yeah. No, I might. Yeah, I probably will. Yeah, I will. I can do it. So, yeah. But yeah, no. So what did you, so the Dead Man's Touch, what did you rename it to? The Alive Man's Touch?
We renamed it to, so I got Dead Man's Touch from a song called Blue on Black by Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and it was like this blues song, and I thought that was it was like part of the lyrics, and I thought it was interesting. But then my friend helped me retitle it, and we retitled it to Drowning Phoenix, because the metaphor was about the character being like a phoenix bird, and his fear was drowning in a pool, and because his brother drowned in a pool. It was this traumatic event, and so like we called it Drowning Phoenix, and we had this like, you know, we were so like excited to be like have this whole like artsy avant-garde title, and we were making like a thriller movie and a mystery and all this stuff, and you know, of course I was the monologuing bad guy. It started back then and never stopped.
Nothing's changed, dude. Nothing's changed.
Oh,
yeah.
And it was our buddy. Shout out to Vinny Pompo, who was in drowning in Bullets, Fangs, and Dinner at 8. It was me and him, you know, worked on that, and he was my adversary in the movie. And
is it on Tubi TV? Do you have Bullets on Tubi TV?
I need to do that. I should do that.
Yeah, you should get it on Tubi TV.
No,
dude, Tubi's the best. Dude, Tubi's the best, dude. We need to get you on Tubi TV. But Trevor, you need to watch Bullets, Fangs, and Dinner at 8. My buddy Matthew made this movie. Trevor, you got to watch it. It's great. It's on Amazon Prime.
And again, like I said earlier, see Tremaine's awesome cinematography in multiple scenes.
Yes.
There was a moment you were an extra too, right? In the Vampire Club.
I'm in there too. Yeah, somewhere. Yeah, somewhere. I think dancing or something like that. Yeah. or like, yeah, the Vampire Club. God, what a fun shoot, man. We
That
need
was
to do it. We need to do it again.
well, it's right around the corner. We're doing the new movie that Tremaine's probably going to be in, right? We were talking about
Yes, that's right. No,
that.
what do you mean? Probably. Do I not have a? Am I?
I didn't know how official it was, but if it's official, you're in, man. That's
Oh hell yeah! Thank you so much. I'm in. I will sign. Make me sign anything, So I'm in, dude. Yeah, I can't wait.
United. That's gonna be.
Congratulations on getting. You got a producer on there
Oh,
on board.
thank you.
Yes.
We got our first 20K in. It's a pretty exciting announcement. Actually, this is the first time we talked publicly about that. We just need to get ourselves to about 60K and we're at
You're a third of the way there. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Wow, that is awesome, man. So proud of you. That is so legit. Well, that's the thing, dude. Like, that's the way of doing it, man. Is like you could do it on your own. You have the tools. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be great. You don't need millions of dollars, right?
Yes.
But you get a decent.
I've got to say, Tremaine was a major inspiration for just getting to the grindstone and getting it done. Because there's another project that's been in pre-production for such a long time and trying to raise this, a couple million to make this other thing with these actors attached, which is going to be really cool whenever it does happen. But it's like Tremaine really encouraged me. You told me like you just got to make something and just like make it something you can do and make it something you can do on your own, and you don't need all of this to make it happen.
That's right. Thank you. You're welcome, by the way. But yeah, thank you so much.
No, really, that's the luck we had. That was one of
wow.
those. That was one of those turning points for me, where because I had been in pre-production limbo on such a long time with that other one. I was just like, okay, fuck, I'm gonna keep that one going. It's not going anywhere, but I'm gonna make Morte. Like let's make this happen.
Dude, and Morte, and that's the thing. It's like having something that you can make in between making the bigger projects and stuff like that. Like doing what you can make, because also it's a muscle, dude. It's a filmmaking. It's a muscle, dude. Because that'll make you better from when it comes to like the bigger budgets and stuff. When you're making this one, it's gonna be like you're gonna be on point because you're practicing while you're doing even the big one. And then the small one, you approach it the same as the big one. I mean, the same thing. You're approaching, you're going to make it the best it could be. But at the same time, like you're giving it your all and you're doing what you can with what you have.
Yes.
And, you
learn more and more through those different, and that's what has been so fun about watching your filmmaking, evolution, and just seeing that like, that's also been very inspiring to me, is just seeing that it's like you have not let the weight of these big wheels,
the heavy ass weight, the elephant of weight. Yeah.
No, you've just kind of been like, okay, like I did this one, and then you're very breezy about, okay, now I'm moving on to this, and you keep the work going, and then so whenever you have something new, I'm always like, that's so cool, like that's so exciting, and just to see the evolution of your style as a filmmaker, has been really awesome.
Oh, thanks, man. Which, by the way, you did see a little screening of Simp now, didn't you? What were your thoughts of Simp?
Oh my gosh, did we not do a YouTube video on Simp?
We didn't yet.
Do a YouTube video on Simp?
No, we're doing one right now.
Oh yeah, it must be. We just had a long conversation, but we didn't do like a whole.
Not a full official.
We need to do that. In fact, I need to rewatch it. Full non-disclosure, absolutely loved Simp and thought it was like just incredible. And that's what I mean when I say the evolution of your style, like just to like how amazing Rideshare already was, but to see like how far you went with Simp and how far you pushed yourself as a director and your actors, some of the stuff that they have to do in it, and like the technicality of some of those shots. I was like, whoa, dude, like I was watching some of these shots, and that kind of moment where you're just so proud of your friend, where just like we know each other since college, and being like, wow, man, Tremaine fucking Hale did this shot. Like it was awesome, man. It was awesome. We need to do like a whole rewatch party and then do like a Q&A YouTube video or something, and get that out to all your fans, I think.
Sure, I'm up for that. Heck yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That is the thing where, like what you said, it's good to show, because I don't show many people the stuff, obviously, when it's not out, but obviously,
Same.
but I show you, and I love your opinion, and I respect your opinion, and I know you're gonna give me the truth. You're not gonna try to sugarcoat stuff, but you're very positive. You're a very positive guy, So that's what I like about you. You gotta have to be positive in this industry because it's so easy to be negative, man. It's like
Yeah,
you get beat down, and you can
yeah.
get like, right? Like
You
I'm
start
sure.
to get to that. Yeah, you do. You totally do. It's but that was, yeah, for 100%. Like that was the last before our conversation and before just that inspiration of kind of going forward on Morte, which is the one we're doing now. It did get to that point where it was just like the depression of trying to get a movie with bigger actors and trying to get that. You would think it would, on since you have 2, 3 bigger actors attached, it would make it easier, not harder. But actually, it was the difficulty of still trying to pay them and then also still having to deal with all this other, behind the scenes of pre-sales and all this stuff. So like it did get to a point where it was kind of just like it was depressing and it was kind of on standstill for a little bit, and you kind of start to question yours, not really your own. I never question my own genius, but I question my where I am at that stage in my life. Like, oh, Tarantino had already done Reservoir Dogs,
Right. Right.
or whatever. So like you start to question where are you at in life, and you start to have this sort of a little bit of an existential crisis at times, and then it's like when you then have that other project, you can jump in and just be like, no, I'm just making this happen no matter what. It lifts you back up again. And I feel like you've kind of always stuck to that philosophy with your work, right?
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Well, yeah. Well, because there's no other options. Like, what else do I do? Do I die? I guess I just die. It's like I just like cease to exist.
Yeah.
Like right. It's like, but what am I gonna do with my life? It's like, what do I want to do with my life? I've been close to, losing my life, but that kind of has put me into perspective. Like, yeah. Well, if I were to do anything with my life, what would I be doing? Oh, let's make movies. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's make movies. There's
Yeah.
no, yeah. Right. As Trevor Harris says, never ever say die. It's a James Bond film, I think. But, yeah, yeah. Never say die. No, but, you know what I mean? But, thank you so much, man. It's like, you got to keep pushing yourself and keep making the movies. And also like, look, like, Matt, you could be a very successful film professor. You could be, nationally accredited. Everyone could love you as a film professor and stuff. But I'm sorry, Matt, you're a little bit more than just a film professor. You're a film maker, right? You are a filmmaker, and you are an actor, and you are a producer. So you are put on this earth to make these movies, and the world is a worse place if you don't. Yes. So this is why you do have to make them,
That is it's so true. It is totally true. It's like, and you get to that certain place of like it's like you could just be like doing that thing that's like almost like Tarantino has talked about this. Like you could do that thing that's almost what you want. That it involves movies in some way. It's like it's almost
like working at the video store. It's like oh yeah, it's like you're almost with film, but not, but almost there. Yeah.
It's like you just gotta, if you have that, and not everyone has that, and it's fine for people who don't. But if it's like that, you have that burning desire, and that's like calling you, you have to do that, right? You have to just make that happen. Otherwise, you do get depressed, and it's interesting because I think that to tie it all back to Scorsese too, it's interesting that how his filmography like has been one of the ongoing inspiration. I don't know if you've felt this way about his like just the history of it, but like for me it's been such an ongoing inspiration of, and we're in such different times now. I know it's different, but like just seeing how he broke out of nowhere, out of New York. He lived in much worse circumstances than probably either of us did financially, and saying things like that. He was living on the streets of New York and growing up
The mean
I
streets
mean,
of New York.
no, literally, he was growing up with these people, and then he goes and makes a movie about it. And Mean Streets, it was not his first movie. He had several other, like 2 or 3 other features he had done by then. But Mean Streets was that thing that pushed him, and back then, like nowadays, Robert De Niro, Harvey Keitel, it's like, of course, that's going to help you get your movie made, right? Like Keitel with Reservoir Dogs. But back then, it was like, there's those two were kind of newcomers. So it's like they all kind of just came out of the woodwork and did this awesome thing, and then kept that energy going with all of those projects and going through the 70s, like just making Taxi Driver, almost thinking no one would watch it. And like, just it's a passion project and they just have to make it, and having the MPAA try to give it an X rating, and Scorsese being so upset he almost wants to kill the guy, and then thinking, no, I'll desaturate the blood, we'll be okay, and then I'll get an R. Like, it's
it's okay. I won't commit murder. Maybe I'll just do a little desaturation, Okay. I was gonna murder him, commit
Did you ever
but
see
maybe
the Spielberg
yes.
Marty was quite apoplectic. He could get himself worked up back then. I'm a little calmer now.
Dude, I can imagine. Well, that's the thing. Is like, look, he's 80 now, and that is look, I am impressed with Scorsese, as like Scorsese, Eastwood. Okay, dare I say his name, Eastwood, who's 91 years old.
Yeah, like, dude, yes.
Freaking still crushing it with movies, Yeah. And Scorsese is, I mean, he's a great filmmaker. I mean, Eastwood is more of like, he's more of a he's got the reps. He gets the reps in, maybe not every movie is brilliant, because like some of the acting isn't as good as something as Scorsese would do, because he only does like 1 or 2 takes,
which I think is fascinating. It's really interesting, especially as I'm shooting stuff on film now. It's like to try to do only 3, 4, maybe 5. I wanted to do only a 3-to-1 shooting ratio, since we're shooting on film and trying to shoot it for cheap, and like Hitchcock used to do 3-to-1, and my cinematographer was like, can we please just do 5-to-1, please?
Yeah. Yes. 5-to-1 is good, dude. 5-to-1 is good. Actually, like, look, like that's all you need, man. If you have 5 chances at the take, that's all you need. You don't need more than that. If you need more than that, then you need to get a different actor, or
because we I think, I don't know about you if you ever like overshot stuff, but for me with bullets, I learned that of like, you had these digital cameras you can keep shooting over and over, and so, some of those days, like when we had multiple extras and we're shooting with like 2 cameras or 3 cameras, like in the Vampire Club and stuff, and it was so overwhelming to edit, and it was like, oh man, if it was simplified and it was just like, no, this is the shot, this is the frame, we're not doing extra coverage and all that bullshit, this is what's in the frame, and then we're going to focus all of our effort on that, and we're only going to do this amount of takes, and then okay, we're moving on. Like, I just prefer that. I mean, some directors don't, but I prefer that, which goes to your point about Eastwood. It's like, that's, I think that's really cool. Like, it's a great.
I think it's cool. Yeah, Eastwood's like 2 takes max, but for me, I'm like, you go till you get it, right? And like, once I know that I've got it, we got it. Let's go. Yeah,
for sure.
I know that we got it. Maybe one more for safety, right? Yeah. But like maybe, but I'm more of like, well, I know that was a freaking great take. That's gonna work well in the movie. Yes. And it gets to the point where I think Eastwood said, like, if you're at 20 some takes, it comes to the point where like these people don't know what they're doing. It's like, it's like they just don't know. You just don't know what you're doing at that point. You know what I mean? It's like so that's why it's like, dude, my like when you look at Kubrick, right? Kubrick is renowned for like what, 20, 30, 40, 50 takes.
Freaking The Shining is like like some of that stuff is 80 takes, 100 takes. Like, but I do feel that, because I think Kubrick is such a genius, I do feel he was doing it on purpose to get an effect from those actors. But I'm
not. Maybe. I see what you're saying.
Because they would say Nicholson was not the flamboyant, crazy Nicholson we know nowadays. Like he was still kind of a little more of a leading man type, and so like his earlier takes were a little more normal. And the more it went on, the more frustrated he got, and the more like manic he got. And you get to that point when you're almost so tired that you get even more like you're just doing that's what he was doing. And like Shelley Duvall like was, as we know, like ripping her hair out with stress, just like so. And by the way, like I can't imagine treating my actors that way. I'm not saying that's condonable, but like he's a Kubrick is a genius in a totally different way. Like,
well, Hitchcock says that he's been quoted about his actors and saying that like he said he's like I've been quoted in saying that actors are like cattle. He's like, that is a very horrible misquote that I've ever had. He's like what I really said was actors should be treated like cattle. It's like, oh my God. So good.
Nothing tops the Hitchcock dry straight face humor. And just and there's some truth. But
there's some truth to that, dude. There's some truth. Well, because he talks about it, and he talks about like a time where there was some actress. It was some actress, and she was talking about like it was like a death scene or something.
Oh yeah.
And I think he was saying like, oh yeah, I don't think my character would be looking at it this way, or they'd be looking at it this way, and she's just like kind of like rolling his eyes, like, give me a break, like
It's like that. What was, I forgot who the actor was. He's coming out of the building in that one overhead shot, and he's supposed to look up at something in a building, and he's like, I don't think my character would look up that way or whatever. And Hitchcock's like, and he's like, why? What's my motivation? Like, why am I looking that way? And he's like, because I want the camera to point that way.
Right? Yeah, it's not that complicated. It is not that complicated. It's like, just look that way because I tell you to. Go do it. Yeah. No, that is the thing where when you can really like that is a like. Take the crazy, because a lot of actors have this ego. They want to have a process, or they want to have some crazy, what's my motivation? What's,
Right.
And, and it's not, Hitchcock used to hook up with the cattle. Hello. Sorry, Joe. What was I saying? I just lost my train of thought. But,
oh yeah, it's not that complicated, and that some actors want to make it more complicated, or
yeah, they want to make it more, and it's just like, can you just do it? Oh, the biggest thing. Okay, so David O. Russell. Have you seen the movie Joy?
Yes.
Joy.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, yeah. Joy. You know how her mom is obsessed with soap opera actors, right? Like the soap opera, right? Yeah. And I watched the behind the scenes of Joy, and David O. Russell is talking about how he worked with the actual soap opera actors for that movie for Joy, because they had a Spanish soap opera that they were los grandes, whatever they do, like he had them, and he talks about it, and he's like, he goes, working with those actors was really like eye-opening, because these act like a soap opera actor, they will never ask you what's your character's motivation. They will never ask you any of that. Yeah. They're just like, okay, what is this? Okay, so your sister just cheated on her husband with your brother, and your uncle is in town, and he's going to be here in 5 minutes. Go. And it's like, okay, like they just go.
We're used to, those shooting days where it's just like, we got to do a whole whatever, like this many episodes.
They do a whole episode, like they do multiple episodes a day, I think. It's insane. It's so crazy. So they're literally like working it out, and that's the thing, is like, you don't have time to really think about these esoteric things that like when actors are like, oh, I I wrote a 5-page background story
Yeah.
of my character. It's like, all right, congrats. Have fun with that. It's like,
Yeah, it's like, no, it's interesting because it's like both of us also come from a place of like, we've acted in many of our movies or each other's and other people's movies and stuff, and like for me, like I said, wanting to be an actor before I wanted to be a filmmaker. So like coming from an acting background and stuff, like I do see validity to certain things and with the method acting and everything, and I do bring a great amount of research when I'm doing a character and all that. But I also, it's like I don't feel like that needs to dictate every single thing, and I understand that the filmmaker is trying to achieve their thing too, and you know what I mean. It's like I might show up to set in character, but I'm able to break character during craft services, and you know what I mean. Like I've done the research beforehand, and I've done all that to get me there. It's just like my style of doing it. But,
right. You're not going to be super method with the point where someone asks you if you want to drink of water, and you're
would
just
my
like,
character drink this?
Yeah. Would my character? Yeah, is my character thirsty? I'm not sure. Yeah.
Although I love Daniel Day-Lewis, and he's not, but that's of course like.
Okay, so going back to Killers of the Flower Moon. This is the best Killers. This is the best Killers of the Flower Moon review, by the way. I'm just gonna say, unbiased anonymous sources are saying this is the greatest. No, it was a good film. I would rewatch it. It's a lot better than Irishman, I thought. Is it his best? I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it's his best?
Best to me, nothing can. Well, okay, nothing can top Goodfellas to me as like his best. And by the way, best is such a hard word to say, right? Because like there's also like favorite, which is like it is Goodfellas, but also like I can't detach from everything that this movie Cape Fear did for me, and how that made me so intrigued with filmmaking and stuff. So like and then The Departed was also this whole other experience for me where I learned the joy of editing from watching that movie, and then I went and edited my first high school movie and started editing for the first time, really, because of the cuts in that movie and the way that the jump cuts and all the weird, crazy stuff with the music and everything. So like, it's hard to just say like best, like one solid best, but I would have to say maybe if best was judged by a mix of the subjective and the objective, and you had to kind of say, okay, your personal favorite aspects as well as like what is just he has this goal and this is what he's trying to do as an artist. He sets out to do it and he does it throughout the whole way, just pitch perfectly. I'd have to go with Goodfellas. Like I know it's a cliche. I know
there you go. No, it's not. You're not wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right with that.
Do you feel that way too?
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. Like, cause Goodfellas is such a, it's such a man. That is such like it's a staple and like a statement and just like. Whereas you make a good point. Like, my favorite is probably Wolf of Wall Street, right?
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street is my favorite.
Yeah.
I could watch that any day of the week,
Totally.
Totally. Goodfellas, it's a fantastic film. It's really well made. And it's so good, you can't deny it, right? That's like one of those movies, it's like once in a career. If you're lucky to get something half as good as Goodfellas, you've made it, and he's...
100%.
I love Casino too. I love Casino. Yeah, I love Casino.
I just rewatched that too on going on this whole Scorsese-a-thon in Casino. Yeah, it was underrated.
Right on time. On time, Joe. Wow. Yeah.
It's actually, I feel like that's one of his more underrated ones. Like people kind of don't talk about it as much, or they kind of think of it as like, oh, it's another Goodfellas or whatever. It's doing it. It is like a spiritual sequel to Goodfellas, but it's doing its own thing too. It's really incredible.
Right, and that's the thing is like, yeah, you're right. Spiritual sequel is a cool way of putting things. But like when you look at his filmography. And also, have you seen the movie that he directed with Nicolas Cage?
Wait, Bringing Out the Dead. Of
Yes.
course.
Yes. Okay. Of course. Okay.
Talk about underrated gems.
This guy's awesome. I bow down to you, Matt. You are awesome. You are you knew it right away.
Bringing Out
away.
the Dead. It's that movie has the nightmarish neo-noir surreal vibes of Taxi Driver, but with a much more like hopeful, not hopeful, much more idealistic protagonist, right?
Yes.
Like, you can kind of, as his character is going along, you can kind of root for him, whereas Travis Bickle just gets more and more dark as it goes along. But like with Bringing Out the Dead, you get his like wanting to play God and save these people and stuff, you know, like you can follow that journey and kind of root for him. And I think Scorsese had said that Nicolas Cage was like, he had always wanted to work with him, and that like his just how larger than life he can go, and still how subtle he can go. Like it was just what he needed for that mindset of driving that at night, you know? Like
wow. Yeah, because he's an insomniac, right? He's an insomniac. He's driving the ambulance, and then there's a guy. They go to this the paradise, right? With Cy. There's a guy Cy. Like that room. Like I know a man named Cy who has his like place set up like it's this paradise essentially.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yes.
That's so awesome.
And it was there. The correlations were like crazy in that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Cy, and they're like, oh yeah.
Did he do it on? He did it on purpose, like as a tribute to?
No, not as a tribute at all. I don't think he knows this movie exists, but it's his correlation. I have a friend named Cy who has a place. Yeah, like So, but in that movie, I mean, that's that. Like, see, this is your like Morte is kind of your Bringing Out the Dead, dude.
I think
like
that's a great parallel. Actually, it's that inside the head of someone's, you know, inside the headspace of this character is first person subjective. What's real, what's not, it doesn't really matter. You know, it's this hallucinatory, and it's also really funny too. Like Morte has a lot of humor, and Bringing Out the Dead is like really funny. Like it's this dark. You would think it's just kind of this dark serious, but it's like no, it's really hilarious. I mean, freaking John Goodman's in it, you know? It's like it's
hilarious. See, Enoch Arden says love John Goodman in that one.
This guy knows, yes, he knows.
He knows, Joe knows all. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, and that's the thing is like that's something that I think he just made in between all these other big movies, and you know, it's like something where as a creator, like you make it, and then you're gonna make bigger ones, but like they're all big in their own right. Like they're all really, you know. You
have that kind of small. Yeah, you're right. It's like you have those kind of small character study kind of ones like that, and it's crazy to think about that. It's like when I'm trying to remember what year it was when he made that. It was
90 something, right? Or 80?
99.
99. Okay, 99. Dude, 1999, dude, is probably the greatest cinema.
Yeah.
The greatest cinema year.
Yeah.
The Matrix, freaking.
Yeah. Like so many, I can't even list them. Like 99 that's what a year that was. Like that it closed out like one of the best decades. And I always consider the
Fight Club. Okay, Fight Club.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my Office Space.
Oh.
Okay, Sleepy Hollow is up there.
Blair Witch.
The Green Mile. Yeah, being John Malkovich. Wild Wild West, maybe not so much, but you know. Bring Out the Dead, Bring Out the Dead is right here.
Crazy.
Superstar. Blair Witch Project, Blair Witch. Yeah.
Huge. Like
Galaxy Quest, that was a fun one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Big Daddy. End of Days, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's right.
Yeah, man. I mean, 99 is a good.
I feel like that was like the peak of like, to me, it's like always the 70s and the 90s are like the two decades that are to me the most spectacular in terms of what was happening in film, and then the 99 to Scorsese to close that decade of his career just as this great decade of film. You know, this decade in which he did Goodfellas, Cape Fear, Age of Innocence, you know, Kundun, Casino, and to close it with
Right, yeah, to name a few. Yeah, and that's the thing is like Eyes Wide Shut is another one.
oh my
Star
god,
Wars, you know,
Eyes Wide
yeah,
Shut.
yeah, that one's incredible. And then Star Wars Episode 1, A Phantom Menace, which I love. I don't care what anyone says.
Yes.
I love that movie.
Yeah,
I don't care what anyone says.
It's great. It's like there's so much. I don't know. It's great. I was just thinking about this recently too. How like the 2000s, especially the the you know last decade of the like have felt hit a lot of hit. Oh yeah, Magnolia. Yeah,
Magnolia is a good one too. Yes, Joe. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna tame. What is it? I won't say.
Yes, yeah, the Tom Cruise. My girlfriend had to pause because she was so just like annoyed with his character, and I was like, "That's the point." I was like, she goes, "I know it's the point. I know. It's just he's such an asshole." Like, like, but no, that's funny if you think of it. He was in that, and he was in Eyes Wide Shut, and
that same year. Yeah, you're right. Oh, that's interesting.
That's wild. Like, but no, I was thinking about this 99, and then I don't know how you feel about the 2000s, and especially like the mid 2000s, the last decade. But to me, it's a lot of it's very, very hit and miss, and I very much agree with Scorsese's whole like, where is cinema going, and that whole thing, and like so. 2019, I feel like was one of the last incredible years because we had Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, we had The Irishman, we had Joker, we had Glass from M. Night Shyamalan, I thought was really underrated. They just had so much.
Yeah, Glass is great. I like Glass a lot.
We have to do a whole thing on Glass. That'd be really fun.
Oh yeah, we should.
I came to school dressed as him when that movie came. I had the purple suit and I had the wig and I had the cane and I was talking like Samuel L. Jackson the whole time to my students. I made one of them do at the art class. I made one of the students point to his art work and me do the whole, "This, my friend, is a piece of art." Do you see a little child out there with Teletubbies? Do you see a little Asian boy out there? You know, that whole thing.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's incredible, dude. That's what it's all about. But we should do that.
We need to do a Shyamalan thing too. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, Shyamalan in general. Like we talk about. We could rank all of Shyamalan's movies.
Yeah, you know? Dude, I love Knock at the Cabin.
He's like starts at the top and then he goes dips down and then he goes way back up again.
Yeah, it's I feel like it's like after The Visit, and when he came back around with The Visit, like.
The Visit was a turning point for him, for sure. Yeah, definitely. That was. See, that's something where like when you Enoch Joe says Matt sounds like an awesome professor. Yes.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that,
dude. I would have loved to have you as a professor, man. As that would have been amazing. You know? I could only imagine.
I always just think back to what keeps me going is I just think back to like the teachers that I loved so much as a student, and they were almost always eccentric, weird, like strange people, and I always remembered that like those were the ones that stuck with me the most. That just were. They were really into their content and they were really weird and like funny, and you could almost quote them and you know impersonate
make
them.
Fun of them. Yeah. But you love them, and it's an endearing thing. Like,
when I see students doing that about me, I'm like, oh, that's me. You know,
that's you. That's you. That is so cool, man. Yeah. Well, I would love to come in as a guest speaker. Would that be okay?
I would love for you to come in. I've been I've been wanting to get more guest speakers, and I've been really wanting, like, the people that I work with all the time to come and talk about their films and to talk about what they've done, and for them to hear from different voices and not just me, all the time. Like, I think that would be really cool. I would love for you to come in, or to Zoom.
Then I'd hype you up too. Yeah. Or yeah. Oh, zoom in. Could I zoom in? I could zoom in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Really cool. Okay. Yeah, no, that would be really cool, man. And I would put together something that hopefully they could take away something of value,
Let's have you come in. We'll plan this. We'll have you come in with my honors class, because they're the ones who have been with me for 3 years or 4, so they really know and understand a lot about film, and they've heard me talk about you and about my friends who have made movies, and they just have never met you. So
really cool. They don't know we exist. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Awesome, man. Yeah. I would love, thanks. Yeah. I would love that. Absolutely. I would love that. And then, how long is the session? Like 45 minutes or an hour?
90-minute classes.
90 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of time. Okay. So I'll teach them everything I know in 90 minutes. I'll put it together. No, I really will. I really will. Dude, well, that's the thing is, like, because you never know, man. Because I remember in like 7th grade, some random substitute, like we had some random guest person, I always remember the guest speakers that tell me.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
Yeah.
Did
you have some of those ones that came in and inspired you? And
yeah, there's one guy, okay, in college, community college, he came in, he was like this juggler. He's a juggler, and he's like juggling, and it's like, hey, juggling is kind of like it's like, it's kind of like life, and like we're always in between a miracle and a mess, is what he said.
Wow, what a great quote.
Yeah, really great quote. So it's like, it's a miracle, like when he's juggling, he's like adds more balls and adds more things to juggle and all this stuff. But then, like, at any second, anything could become a mess.
Yeah.
So it's like something like that really stuck out with me. That was one guy that came in one class, right? And I remember him more than I don't even remember who the actual teacher I had for that actual class. I don't. I really don't. I don't. And I honestly don't. I'm trying to think of it, and I can't remember. But I do remember those people that had that effect, and they have those stories, and they, something that's relatable to real life, and something that's inspiring to.
You're getting that fresh voice from a different perspective. Like, it's really cool. Like, I love that. I'm so glad you're down to do this too, because my not every one of us who makes movies is into that aspect as much, like where we can kind of talk and inspire, and we enjoy doing that part of it. Like, some people just prefer to which is totally fine. Like, some people just
want to keep it to themselves,
or they're just like, they're not, they're behind the camera for a reason. Like my cinematographer Gary, shout out again,
shout out Gary,
Gary, come on in, talk about shooting on film. Like, they don't know anything about shooting on film, and he goes, oh no, I can't do that. I don't want to talk to you. This great British accent,
I can't do that.
I don't want to talk to the kids.
Yeah, no, I'll have no qualms. I mean, they can make fun of me as much as possible. Tremaine Hayhoe, probably. I got more than enough that they could already, on the surface level, they could make fun of me. But I think it could be, it'll be a really good positive impact on the kids. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm really excited for us to plan that out. I think that'd be really, really cool. Let's make it happen, and then let's make
it happen. All right. So end of the semester, right? Before the end of the semester. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's do it. We're right now. We're in the middle of our first production, and like going into November would be cool. They're learning all about Hitchcock right now too, so you can.
Perfect. I'm not better. Yeah. Okay. Maybe. Maybe if you give me like one particular movie, and then I could just talk about Hitchcock's movie.
Yeah, no, that'd be really cool, because I'm doing, this is for Drama 1, but I'm doing a screening of Psycho, which is the annual Halloween tradition.
No way.
Yeah.
By the way, check this out, dude.
Oh my gosh, dude. That's VHS too. That is so good, dude. I want this.
Dude, this is part of what helped me want to make movies, dude. This VHS set because I watched Lady Vanishes probably in like Man Who Knew Too Much, 39 Steps, all these movies, like probably 15 times. Like I watched them a lot as a kid, and I watched these movies, and they inspired me big time. And this is the actual thing that inspired me. Right, it's right here. You know,
I love that you still have that, and that you
I
still.
still,
Do you still
yeah,
have a VHS player to play them too?
yes,
Dude, that's so cool.
yeah, I
That
have a
is so
VCR.
cool.
Yeah,
You have that
yeah.
actual inspiration you can hold in your hands, and whenever something is stressful with making a movie, you can hold on to that and remember that. Like in Hitch, man, this is like that is so cool.
Well, to have and also to have that collection. Where do you teach math, if you don't mind him asking?
Oh no, I do not mind you asking at all. I teach at a school called Preuss, Preuss, and it's a little campus. It's a middle through high school that's on the campus of UCSD, and it's all uh, first generation low income students, and we're trying to help them all get into college and provide that sort of pathway. That's why it's on the UCSD UC San Diego campus. So it's really fun.
So, okay, as a teacher, have you had to fail a student before?
Yes, it's not fun. It's not good, but I've had to fail. Well, here's the thing. I try to make it like because I remember how hard it was. So like I try really not to make it hard. It's a film class. It should be fun. So like but it's still you're still required to do stuff, right? So like the only ones who fail typically are when they're not putting in the minimal effort at all. Like, I mean, really, like it's really hard kind of it actually takes more effort to fail my class, honestly. If like like you just need to like, the few times I require homework, if you get a 0 and I barely give homework, right? And you didn't do like 2 homework assignments and I barely gave any homework assignments and you have 2 zeros, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like most of the stuff I give them a lot of time to work on in class. And so like if they're just really not paying attention or they just really don't care and they're not putting in that effort, or like, sometimes everyone has extenuating circumstances, whatever's going on at home, you try to work with them and stuff. But yeah, no, it's not cool when you have to do that. But I have had to do that for sure. And sometimes behavior, of course, comes into it and stuff like that. It's like some teachers will, oh no, behavior, that's your citizens. It's like, no, fuck that. It's like behavior is part of your grade. Like, that's how you treat each other, how you treat me. That's part of your grade too,
So, have you had some misbehaving students?
Unfortunately, I have a cadre of middle schoolers was, that I'm teaching. There's a class called advisory where it's like kind of just a study hall and you have to teach the kids to, help them with their grades and stuff like that. And so like, you know, I was like, I'm here, and there's a lot of teachers who are really good at that sort of thing. I was like, you know what, I'm here to teach about film. I'm not really here to do that, but like, okay, like, so like I taught them, in 6th grade, now in 7th grade, and they're getting slowly but surely better. But then you have your up days and your down days, and we're literally right now doing like a marble jar of like if they can accumulate 200 marbles for good behavior, they get like a little party in class.
Oh my gosh! Wow! Little incentives. How do you get 200 marbles? Like,
They have to do like each day. It's like you can earn a certain amount, like for lining up quietly and entering and putting your phone on the shelf on the thing.
Oh, they put their phone on a shelf.
Yeah.
Wow, that's legit.
Well, something I learned as a teacher was just like for high schoolers, you don't have to do that all the time, but with middle school, it's like it's a different game, So like
really,
your phone on the shelf, sitting in your assigned seat, not being told to sit in your assigned seat. You can earn this many marbles for that, and then like transitioning between one activity to the next. So we're going to transition from reading time to math time or whatever. Okay, now are we doing that quietly? It's like, all these different things. That's like, it was a real learning experience for me as a teacher because I'm just like not used to teaching like that. It's like to me that's like elementary school, So it was like
I was just gonna say, like, is this kindergarten? Is this like, okay, class? Let's all take attendance. Let's take tardy. That's all single file line. I'm getting like PTSD thinking about all these things.
I unfortunately that's every other day you end the day with that class. But when it's like a regular day, like there's A days and there's B days. So like on the A day you end with that, which is why I was very tired today after school and very much looking forward to just unwinding with you because you end the day with that class. But then there's other days where it's like you just get to end with the most chill high school film class, and that's like so nice when you get to just, oh cool, I get to wrap up the day with you guys and watch a movie and break down a movie and stuff.
That's cool. That's awesome. Well, okay, so going back to Killers of the Flower Killers of the Flower Moon. It's been awesome. Oh wow, look at this. Oh, we got a little oh wow, we got a little where are we at right now?
We are plugging my laptop in, so we're
plugging the laptop in, so
now,
we don't die.
We're now in this corner of the room.
Okay, awesome, man, awesome. And he's in San Diego, California. I'm in San Diego. I'm in Sacramento, California. Okay.
How many hours is what, like an hour flight or something like that? Like between
hour and a half,
like that. Yeah. Yeah. And my brother almost moved up where you're at. He's Everton almost moved up there. He's decided to live in he did this whole thing recently. It was he was looking there. He was looking at Napa. He was looking at all these different places, and he really likes Auburn. Have you been there?
Auburn? Yeah, Auburn's like 20 minutes from where I live. Is he? Yeah. Is he going to Auburn?
Yeah, that's what his plan is right now.
No way. Yeah. Oh no, legit. Well, you got to come visit. Obviously, you got to come visit. Well, regardless, you got to come here, see the studio, and then visit me, visit him, and everything.
All three of us got to do a hangout. That'd be really fun.
Oh yeah. That'd be awesome. That's cool.
Well, I told him that I was like, you and Tremaine never really got to hang out like when we were making bullets and stuff. It was just kind of like, passing by, working together a little bit. But I was like, I said you and Tremaine would like have so much to talk about and get along. It would be really fun. Imagine the three of us.
Well, the three of us alone. Oh my gosh, yeah, we'd have a blast with that. Let me move this logo's in your way right here. But yeah, dude. So there we go. Okay, so yeah, man. So okay, so Killers of the Flower Moon. Going back to this movie. So Scorcese is 80 years old. DeNiro's 80 years old.
Yeah.
DiCaprio's
48.
48. Okay, yeah. pushing 50. But like, in terms of where would you rank that? Would you rank them the top? Like, I feel like you would.
You mean what they did with the film, like whatever?
Yeah, this movie and everything.
Yeah, I would. I would say it is top tier work from all three of them, and like it's I would say DeNiro's like best performance in years, which is saying a lot because I thought he was heartbreaking in The Irishman. I think he really, like, that moment when he's on the phone and trying to lie about his involvement with Al Pacino, with what happened, like, just that was such a heartbreaking moment. He was so good in that movie. And but I thought this was even top that. Like he just was so sinister, but so charming in that way that only De Niro can kind of pull off that balance of the two in that very particular way, and being really darkly funny. And like anytime he just would be in, on screen, just pretending to be friends of the people and everything, and quoting the Bible or whatever, like he cracked me up. Like you couldn't help but like laugh of all of that false Southern charm that he's working on the people, even as how evil he is. I thought he was like top tier, just awesome to see at 80 years old he can still be as scary, because that was the thing, I haven't seen him in a scary role in a really long time, and to see
things like I didn't really find him scary as much as like he was playing this character. He was charming, definitely, you know, and he played his role and everything. But I wasn't really like, oh, this guy's, I'm scared of this guy. I don't know. He was almost more sympathetic, because in the trailer, I'm like, okay, this is the bad guy. You know, he's going to be like this sinister type character. But I related more with him than anyone, really. Him, and then, you know, and I'm like, oh, I see where he's coming from, you know?
Yeah, well, that's because he that's what's so great about his performance. Like, it sucks you in to, like, you know, he's the villain, you know, he's the one manipulating and doing all, and this is not even a spoiler, it's in the trailer, like you said, but like, it's like, you know, he's doing all this stuff, but like, he is sort of the most relatable character. Like, he is, because you admire his, you don't admire him, but you admire his, that he is.
I admire him.
He's
I'm just kidding.
He's the most intelligent man.
I admire him. I admire him real well. Kidding, guys. Kidding at home.
She is now in her time of Job. This is her time of the affliction. But they'll all be gone pretty soon. They're wonderful people. But their time's over.
It's like, just call them all wonderful people, and then just say, well, they all deserve to die. You're like, oh, okay. All right. But they're wonderful people. Great people. Well,
it kind of reminded me of what was so sinister about him in Goodfellas to me. Like, again, it wasn't like you said, it's not like he's an outright, like, he's such a scary character. It's like in Goodfellas, Joe Pesci's really like the psychotic, like, maniac, right? But DeNiro he's scary in a different way. It's just he's so calm and methodical, and just like, nope, he's planning everything out. It's just a little twitch of his eye, and it's like, oh, he's planning to kill this person next, or, you know, and you just see that all in the body language and the way he's just studying the room every time he's somewhere. How is he going to use this to his advantage? You know, like, so I just thought that was just like, you know, he had a master class in making the villain so interesting yet again, as he has done time and time again. But to see him do it at this age and still do it so skillfully, and just, you know, that, and DiCaprio, same with him. It was like everything, like, what I loved about his performance in Once Upon a Time, it reminded me of Rick Dalton, you know, 8 goddamn whiskey sours, you couldn't stop fucking 3 or 4, you had to have 8. God damn it! Like, it kind of reminded me of that character, but like, but so much more like conflicted, you know, obviously, about his role in what's going on and everything, to the point where it gets to this really dark place with the character and stuff. But like, just the fact that he could make you like you said when we started talking about this, you said him and Molly, the Lily Gladstone character, and you said he loves her, and the fact that we can say that as a definitive statement, when on paper it could be rather ambiguous, right? Like,
true,
it's performance that makes you like, no, there's not even a question, right?
Yeah, no, totally. And then also when it goes to like the court and the judge, they could easily look at this and be like, well, he's just doing it on paper. He's just saying for the money on paper. And anyone else could say that too. No, but that is a good point. Like, because you see him, and at having that perspective is what you said, of them versus the FBI agents, like, that perspective is great, because you see the fact that he really does love her. He's not doing it just for marriage. He's not doing it just for the money. You know, he's not. Yeah, he's a simpleton, but he's not. You know, he really does love her, and that was an interesting thing. And like I like that about this movie. But like, okay, so let me ask you this. So when you are 80 years old and you want to, you know, when you're 80 and you think about like the first actors that your greatest actors that you're working with, are you still wanting to work with the same exact actors that you worked with 70 years ago?
Great question.
Or are you always looking at new, fresh talent to be the best talent?
It's a really good question. I would say I could be proven totally wrong in many years, but I would say that like probably something similar to the extent that that I would be working with some of the same people consistently, because they're constantly inspiring to me and they get what I'm trying to do as a director, and we get each other. So like I would say that like I predict myself still working with you at age 80 and still working with Brian Butler.
I hope so. I hope so. Shout
Yeah,
out, Brian.
like,
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah.
know, and you know, I said, so I do predict that, but at the same time, I also think that like Scorsese brings in these newcomers like Lily Gladstone and
True.
some of these other, not even just newcomers, but some of these other like heavyweight actors who come in at certain points where you know, you're like, oh, it's, you know, it's a bigger name. You know, even like Jesse Plemons from Breaking Bad. You know, like some of these people where it's like, oh, it's a bigger name, but he's never worked with them before. You know, like so he's still experimenting. So I feel like it probably will be like that, where it's like you have those collaborators you like to work with, but you're still stretching your wings with like other people as well. You know, like most likely, I would think. But it's also just dependent on the role. Like Tarantino has said that a lot about where it's like, who is the character, you know? And he might want to write another role for John Travolta, but if the role is not perfect for John Travolta the way Vincent Vega was, then he's not going to do it, right? And he might want to do another role with Christoph Waltz, but unless it's like, this is the role, then he's going to go for a different actor. Hateful Eight, Tim Roth, you know, people were like, oh, was that supposed to be a Christoph Waltz type of character?
Oh, interesting.
Him to be, and he's like, no, this is like, I wrote this role for an English sense of humor, an English gentleman, an English who's then revealed to be Cockney, you know, like this Englishman, and you know, it's not supposed to be Christoph Waltz, or I would have done it with Christoph Waltz, all right, you know, like
all right,
you know?
okay, all right, okay. Have you seen the Norm Macdonald impersonation of Quentin Tarantino? Oh my god, it's so good. So okay, all right, okay, all right. I'm gonna do this. Okay, all right.
Did you ever see that? You know, those YouTube like where the shorts where it's cut so quickly, where they took like an interview with DiCaprio and Tarantino talking about Once Upon a Time, and like they just cut it so it's so quick, and you're just seeing all the times that Tarantino interrupts DiCaprio.
Oh no, are you serious?
Like, in the middle of a thought, and you know, he's like very kind of like quiet, and you know, when he's just and he's just kind of like, well, you know, this role was very, very interesting because, you know, Rick Dalton, but and then, all right, I gotta say it. Based on all those cowboys, all right, from the 50s, and the just waiting to speak, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point, dude. Well, and that's the thing, man. It's like I have a huge amount of respect for Tarantino, for Scorsese and everything, for them to be doing it, you know, still, you know. But at the same time, I've got a little bit of a disrespect for these guys. I don't know. Something about me is like, I'm just kind of like, well, I think they're just kind of staying in their lane. They're doing their thing. They're not necessarily challenging themselves. I don't think. It doesn't seem like that way. You know, and like for Tarantino particularly, I watched Once Upon a Time in Mexico, or not Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, not Mexico. Yeah, not Mexico. Which, by the way, Robert Rodriguez made a new movie, and it's horrible. It's called Hypnosis. It's starring Ben Affleck. It's terrible. Have you seen it?
I didn't. I heard bad reviews, but I always want to give it a chance and see. But like, you didn't like it? It wasn't good?
Well, give it a chance, but it's kind of like, yeah. I didn't even know it, dude. The thing is, I didn't know it was Robert Rodriguez until after, and I saw the credits.
So you were just watching it like
I was just watching it because I'm like, okay, Ben Affleck, okay, cool, this is cool. And, Hypnosis.
And William Fichtner plays the villain, right? He's like, he's one of my favorite character. You know,
he's a fantastic, of course, from The Dark Knight. Yeah, he's fantastic. I mean, the thing is, like, those two actors are great. I love Affleck. I love William. And dude, it's like, oh man, this is brutal. I mean,
Dude,
it's
that's too bad. It's interesting because I know Tarantino had said, like, Tarantino and Rodriguez, how far they go back and how they always collaborate.
oh yeah, oh big
Like,
time, oh yeah.
but there was this one where he was talking about Paul Thomas Anderson, and he said like it wasn't like he was slighting Robert Rodriguez at all, but I just felt like as friends, I wonder if Robert Rodriguez was hurt by this or not, but like just that Tarantino said Paul Thomas Anderson is his most friendly combatant, his biggest
Ooh.
competitor, where they're on the same level and of the same generation and all that. And I was just thinking that was interesting, like,
Yeah, that he didn't say Rodriguez was. Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, well, I think that's the thing. It's like Rodriguez. I feel like he's the type to take a paycheck. Okay, he's gonna take a paycheck to make this movie. He'll get it done, and
yeah.
it's streaming on Peacock. It's they had a budget and everything. They had a budget,
Yeah,
right?
you have
You
Ben
know,
Affleck, you have to, yeah.
yeah, yeah. You got Ben Affleck, you got Willem, and but it was a mediocre movie at best. And like the thing is, like, going back to what we were talking about, like how a lot of movies don't have that humor in it. It's like all straight drama. This is
Yeah.
that. This is that movie. Everything is straight drama in that. And that's my whole gripe with Alita Battle Angel. You ever see Alita Battle Angel?
No, I haven't.
Same freaking thing, dude. Same thing where it's like, dude, everything is like, we had Christoph Waltz. You have good actors in there. You have a good movie, but
you don't utilize that humor. That's like
there's zero humor in the whole thing. And so, like, my friends and I watched it, and we were dying laughing. Like, we were dying laughing
so
just because
like,
it was so serious. We had to laugh the whole time, like to the point where like we were almost told to be shushed. I mean, we were like probably shushed, but like we were having a good time watching, but for all the wrong reasons, because it was just really like, oh my gosh, dude, this is so. I kind of fear for someone like Robert Rodriguez, who maybe he wants to take a paycheck, maybe he is accepting, maybe he's I don't know what his deal is, but my respect to Scorsese at the age of 80, still making a very good, it was an entertaining movie and better than most film.
It's something that what I think just makes him the great, the greatest. For me personally, him and Tarantino, the ones that I keep coming. I mean, there's too many. Hitchcock. Obviously, like there's too many inspirations, right? But to me, I keep coming back to their work so much because like even if it's like a movie you didn't like as much as some others in their filmography, it's like it's like you said, it's never a paycheck movie. Like it's like they are making something they're super passionate about. Even stuff that's like Scorsese's like experimenting, and it's not like it's not torn out of his soul, like Cape Fear, perfect example.
Yeah.
Cape Fear. That was a movie he did. It was not torn out of his soul the way that like Last Temptation of Christ or Silence or even now Killers of the Flower Moon. There's certain ones where it's like it's so like his baby, like his passion project. Cape Fear was like more of an experiment. It was like DeNiro was really interested in this character. Spielberg was almost going to direct it, and then they switch because Spielberg had the rights to Cape Fear, and Scorsese had the rights to Schindler's List.
No way! I didn't know that.
And they're such good friends, and they're like, why? Like Schindler's List is you, like
right? Yeah, it should be me. It should be you. Yeah.
So they switched, and they like they both. It was like, but to me that's so fascinating because it was like, that's so interesting to contemplate, right? Like what would have a Spielberg Cape Fear and a Scorsese.
Oh my gosh! Wow, yeah, in an alternate universe.
Yeah,
wow,
it's so bizarre. Like,
I feel like I feel like Scorsese's Schindler's List would show all the death scenes. It would just show everything. Yeah,
maybe it would have been more Killers of the Flower Moon.
yeah. It would have been a brutal. Yeah, that would have been brutal. Maybe I wouldn't want to watch that one, but that'd be.
Yeah, and then Spielberg. But by contrast, Spielberg's Cape Fear would have been like probably a lot less brutal and a lot
Yeah, it would have been less brutal. Yeah, maybe less of a character. There
a
maybe there's a
happier,
shark.
yeah,
Yeah,
a
a
happier
happier
family.
ending.
Yeah,
Yeah, happier.
like no, it's good, but it's crazy. Like, but yeah, that's the point is that he took that as this sort of like, cool, like let me challenge myself with this experiment, and can I do like a genre movie and do this kind of horror thriller thing and do the stuff on the houseboat and all that special effects, you know. But it wasn't like Killers, where he's been working on it for years and years, and he's so passionate he's going to make it. But even so, it's like that movie being the first one that got me into his work, it's like his passion shows through, even when it's in something that he might consider a lesser work or like an experiment or whatever. It's like he can't help himself. Like he's still, his directorial style is there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And you want to have that print. You want to have that fingerprint where people can see this and watch it without the credits and see. The thing is with that Hypnosis movie, dude, if it didn't have Robert Rodriguez at the end, I wouldn't have known it was a Rodriguez film. And I'm a big fan of him. I'm a big fan of him.
Me too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always go back to El Mariachi commentary more than the movie itself. It's the commentary that really inspires me, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah, the book too. The book is great. Like I read that book, dude. Yeah, that I have that book, dude. It's incredible.
So many pages earmarked in that book.
It's dude. So I mean, but like I don't think I ever want to get to that level where, well, I don't know. Like I could honestly say, hey, I could take a paycheck for this one and not worry about it. But like, it's tough, man, because you have, your it's your stamp of approval, or it's your work, it's your body of art. Like I would love, because I feel like with Rideshare and Simp, like they both, if you're to watch both of those, you could say, okay, maybe the same person made this one.
For sure. Yeah, right? Totally. Yeah, you can definitely see the dark humor, the similar character work, and you know. The dialogue and everything, like you can feel a very connective tissue with the two of them. And it's like one of them you had more technical toys to play with, obviously, but it's the same voice behind it.
Well, thank you. Yes, totally. Well, and that's the thing, is it's like at the same time I want to make it different too, where it's like, because I rewatch it. I'm like, man, did I just remake Rideshare, but just in the daylight and with different characters? You know what I mean? It's like,
no, you totally pushed yourself though in different new directions, because you did stuff, without spoiling, you did stuff in there that I was like, oh, that's interesting. I was like, the Tremaine who was making Rideshare, I feel like he would have done this, and then like you went in a different direction on these certain moments and things, or the way you covered the way you shot certain scenes, where that's what I mean when I say the evolution of it, because it wasn't just like now you're just doing a similar approach to it. You were doing new stuff, but it's like the voice of you is still whispering in the background.
I appreciate that. Well, it's like Spielberg talks about the whisper. He says like God whispers to him.
Yes,
he doesn't
shout. Yeah,
he doesn't shout. Yeah. It's more of a whisper, and it's more of like in every stage of where I'm at, and it's actually because I'm in a bit of a transitional period right now, where it's like I went from a bingo hall to being in the biggest movie studio in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. But then now I'm like kind of at a new opportunity here. So I'm like kind of, because I can't really grow where I'm at right now. So So
got to the peak of that.
I got to the peak of this, even though there's a lot to grow here. Yeah. But the room for me is not there. So. Right. So I'm looking at new warehouse studio space, something that I could actually control, have zero red tape, have a bigger studio, make some more movies here. And I would love to have someone like you, filmmakers there, build sets and make some movies there. But until I get to that next space, I'm not there yet. I'm still in a little studio spot here. But in the next couple of weeks, though, it's going to change. So
that's so exciting. That's awesome, dude.
It is exciting, awesome. Man.
That's really, really cool. You're doing your Coppola thing, man. That's like you're doing your Zolotrope. Like that's.
Dude, that's right. But you're right there with me, man. You're right there. Dude, you're doing your thing, man. Like, we're all doing it, and like, we're all here to help each other. So, when you're making your movie, I would love to help make that happen up here. If there's any other shoot days that make
Thank you,
sense
dude.
here.
That's no, I really appreciate that. We're living out that dream. That's why I always go back to the 70s, because we're doing that.
Dude, we're even better, man. We're better. Dude, thing is, dude, check this out. Did they have the internet in the 70s? No. Did they have, you know what I mean? Like, did they have, like, access to this technology? No. Did they have StreamYards? No. Did they have a YouTube channel? No. What was Scorsese's YouTube channel? How many subscribers did he have? He had 0. He had 0 in the 70s. Exactly. I have 4,000 more than that. 4,900.
Living the dream, yes.
Living the dream. That's right, Joe. That's right. No, we really are. No, it's like I joke, but I'm serious. So, I mean, we have a lot of tools at our disposal, and I'm so happy and Morte is getting made
yeah, hopefully by April, man. That's the
April. Okay. That's shoot date. April.
That's production in April. That's what I'm trying to just like, with that first 20K in, just be like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and not like let's wait around for money. It's just like, this is where it is. This is when we need to try to get this made, and then the money will flow from that.
I love that, dude. I love that. Yeah, go after it, because you have it. You're going after it. You can make the movie, and then you'll attract more people to give you more money, and you'll just keep going. Till the end.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. We have a theater that is already lined up to. We're gonna film a certain big scene that's in the movie in the theater, and this theater is down to show the movie, and it's in San Diego, and they project on film. They're one of the few theaters left around here that project on film. So
I think I know the theater that you're talking about. We won't say it. I think I know. There's only a couple, and
there's this certain theater, and we'll announce it when it's all 100%.
Yeah.
So, but this certain theater, I will say that Tarantino has gone to this theater before. And the manager told me that Tarantino went, and I was like, "Oh my god, dude! Tarantino went to your theater!" Like, and I says that makes sense because he likes when things are projected on film, And I was like, "Were you geeking out?" And he's like, "Yeah, it was pretty cool." I was like, "Pretty cool." I was like,
"Go ahead, go to hell." Yeah. Pretty cool. I'll show you. Pretty cool.
Yeah, he goes, he signed my Pulp Fiction poster. I'm like, can I have it? If you're not,
can I have it? Can I have it? Wow, that's a bold question. May I have this?
Can I have this priceless?
This priceless item? Can you just give it to me, please? Thank you. Yeah, awesome. Well, hey, we should probably wrap it up here. But yes. Killers of the Flower Moon, you actually inspired me. I'm gonna watch it again. As of right now, I'll give it a 3 out of 5, but I will watch it again, Matt. Okay.
That makes me very happy. I'm glad I've done my job then. That's
you did. This whole thing was a ruse to get me to watch Killers of the Flower Moon again. Oh yeah, dude. If you're looking for a PA, we got Joe. Joe's awesome, man. He's a camera guy. He'd help out. He'd PA on your set. He's helped me out on a bunch of my sets, dude. Really awesome guy. So
Tremaine, if you could pass that along to his info. Joe, nice to meet you, man.
By the way, he's going up to Auburn. Speaking of Auburn, because his dad lives up in Auburn, so he's back and forth because he visits his dad up in Auburn, and then he lives in the Bay Area. Yeah, so it's a yeah, man. So when your brother moves up there, we're all gonna hang out. You got to come up.
It's gonna be really fun. That is gonna be really fun and cool. No, thank you, Joe, and awesome just commentary from Joe throughout. Like, it was. Thanks for joining us and adding in here.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Trevor. Emily was here earlier. Yeah. She didn't say anything after the first thing, but thank you for saying welcome, Emily. Thank you all that tuned in, you guys. If you guys like this, please click a like on this video. It helps out a lot. If you guys want to really help out the studio, go to patreon.com/HeyHoStudios. By the way, you're on Subscribestar, Matt. I sent you the thing with Subscribestar, but we're going to Patreon now. So did you get the latest Subscribestar thing?
I don't think I did. Can you send it to me again?
Okay, see, part of the reason why I'm going to Patreon is that Subscribe people don't get the updates for
Oh,
whatever reason.
Patreon's
So
much more, yeah,
it's
like,
a lot more active and everything. I'll send you it's basically a video saying that, hey, I'm going to Patreon, not I have to leave Subscribe because it's too clunky and people have to sign in 3 times before they even see an update, you know? So
yeah,
anyway,
Patreon, man. That's where, that's like so many of my favorite podcasts and video and stuff like that. That's where they're doing a lot of their best stuff is Patreon. So that's awesome.
great. Oh, awesome, man. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys all for supporting the channel. I'm Tremaine Heyo. This is Matthew Rocca. Check out Bullets, Fangs, and Dinner at 8. Check out his movies, guys. He's got more movies to come. And stay tuned because we got some more interesting things. Bigfoot might be coming on Halloween. Bigfoot might be arriving on Halloween. That's what I'm going to say.
That would be so cool. That would
That's
be
all I'm
amazing.
saying. That's all I'm saying.